Kickoff end over end. Berrios gets it just inside the end zone. He's got some steam. He's got a hole past the 30. He is off to the races. Braxton Berrios. Nobody in front of him. Berrios is going to score. Braxton Berrios. No flags on the play.
I woke up this morning, got myself done. Mama always said I'd be there.
Play action, bootleg out to the right. He's got room to run. Setting up, looking downfield. He's going to heave a bomb for Corey Davis at the goal line. Into the end zone. He's got it! That's a Jet touchdown! Zach Wilson unloads from 53 yards to Corey Davis. And the Jets have the lead back.
Never told about right and wrong, but I'm looking good, baby. I believe that I'm feeling fine. I was born under a bad sign, blue moon in my eyes, so help me now. I got a blue moon in my eyes, Dwayne. So sad, Larry. What you got? Goddamn shit.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot to talk about. I got to get some things off my chest. I'm posting some stats up top in the Jumbotron that are, some of them are pretty alarming, for sure. I know, Joey, you're going to have a lot to say. I saw what you were saying in the group chat, so we'll definitely get into that too. Let's see. Jojo, I see you laughing. Get your ass up here. Let's go. I feel like you today, bro. So pull up. I'm awake too, by the way. So pull up. Let's see. Everybody get up in here. Yeah, Jojo, what's good?
What up? I'm gonna stay quiet, but I'm gonna be, when you want a rebuttal on the defensive side, let me know, because I want to hear everybody else. I'd love to hear all this stuff that's going on. I love it.
I bet. Say less. I got you, bro. Let's see. Matty Ice, get up in here, bro. Let's see.
Bring up King Kool-Aid, Mr. Mark Torres, too.
Is he here now? I don't see him.
Nah, but when he is, bring him up. King Kool-Aid, that's his new name.
Yeah, no. I feel that, bro. I feel that.
Benny
When he gets here.
co-host, but I only got like a half hour.
All good, bro. All good.
Kenny, Benny, if you need another co-host, I'll co-host with you.
I'm about to send you the invite
Yeah,
right
you
now,
got to
bro.
send that up the chain, Benny.
Let's see. This week. I'm inviting you to the co-host right now, bro. Let's see. About to get this shit started. Yeah, I got a few people coming in later. All right, cool.
Hey, at least you know with me as a co-host, we can't have breathe-through or defense come up here, so that's a good thing.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so let's definitely just get straight to it. I know y'all got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. I'm not going to go off right away. Kind of like Georgia, I want to hear what everyone has to say first. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm bugging. But, you know what I'm saying? Let's definitely go around the room for the people that are speaking. If you want to speak, just request up. I'll get you up. Initial thoughts right after the game. How you guys feeling? I mean, the day after the game. Are you just ready, looking forward to next week with Zach playing, and you think he's going to come in here and change stuff? Or what's the overall feeling this Monday morning? I know you said you wanted to wait. You can go ahead first, Rusty.
Okay. My biggest problem with the Jets right now, and I mentioned this before, is that they won't adjust their scheme. They're just way too stubborn to change. And you've got to go along with whatever your talent is. You've got to go and plan around what your skills are. And if you don't do that, you're never going to get anywhere. All the good coaches do that. They will adjust everything to fit the players they have. And they're not doing it. They're not doing it at all. And it's killing me because there's so much talent on this team now. And it doesn't matter because if you don't use them properly, this is what's going to happen. We're going to end up losing games that are winnable games. I mean, these games have been winnable games. And next week is a winnable game. But unless they make some adjustments, I don't know. And of course, I am really concerned about our offensive line because we don't have a left tackle. And given that's everybody's blind side because we don't have any lefties, that's a real problem. So for me, I'm frustrated, but I'm mostly frustrated with the coaching. I mean, the players are making mistakes, but they're trying. And it seems like this coaching staff is only concerned with putting the veterans in, whether they perform or they don't. You've got some rookies out there and first year players that are doing a phenomenal job. And if you'd only use them properly, we could be winning games. So that's my take. And I'm just like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, what else can you say? You can't change them, even though it's just they're so stubborn. It's like I don't understand why certain players aren't even active sometimes, and it just makes me insane. And I love the team, and I think they've got a ton of potential, but you can't do anything unless you use that potential. So I'm done. And they just scheduled me for a
Now you
10 o'clock meeting too, so I'll be in and out.
cool, no problem. But no, you're right. This coaching staff has question marks left and right. I'm gonna get to you, Mark, 'cause I know you're feeling not to giving up on the coaching staff yet. And listen, I get that to a certain extent, but it's you can't ignore that this coaching staff. It's clear as day. These dudes don't know what the fuck is going on. There's no accountability on this team. There's Jeff Ulbrich, horrible, 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 horrible. His defensive play sheet, it must be soft zone, soft zone, soft zone, and let's not create any fucking pressure on the quarterback. And like I don't know, bro. Like Jeff Ulbrich doesn't know what he's doing. Mike LaFleur, he simply doesn't know how to adjust game plan. It's these are the plays I wrote up for the week, so this is what I have to call. There's no adjustment ever. And Coach Salah, frankly, everything we thought he was going to be up to this point, I have seen none of it. None of it. That all gas, no break mentality is a complete, utter bullshit. It's just another one of his sayings. The fucking 60%, the fucking whatever. Whatever. I don't care about that. Win football games. Look like you're competitive. Don't get blown out by 15 plus every damn Sunday. As far as I'm concerned, I know JoJo said it last week. As far as I'm concerned, this is a legitimate 0-3 football team. We had 2 minutes of a good football team in 3 weeks, if you really think about it. This is a 0-3 football team, and the only other team that's 0-3 was the Raiders. So we should be right down there as one of the worst teams in the league because that's what we are. Frankly, point blank period, not because of talent-wise. We have more talent than a lot of other teams on paper. But if you look at coaching, people underrate how important coaching is. And our coaching staff is by far one of the bottom in the league right now. Could they change? Who knows? I think they're a little too stubborn to change, but hopefully they prove me wrong. But up to this point, they're bottom coaching staff.
Benny, did you go to bed last night and wake up better than yesterday? As coach would say.
No, I didn't. I didn't. But let's go ahead, JoJo. Go ahead, and then we go to. And then we go to
JoJo, don't raise your hand, bro.
No. Just real quick. I don't want to cut you off. So Rusty's point. So let's say hypothetically Zach Wilson comes back week 4, right? Now he's got a brand new left tackle because Fant's probably not going to play. McDermott might going to play. You want your franchise quarterback coming back with a guy who we didn't even want in this team to be your left guy on his blind side for the first game coming back? Bro, it's going to be a joke. It's going to be a fucking joke again, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't think any game is winnable until they actually start winning. That's what I want to see. Win. Just win. Win. I said it last night in a space. I don't care if for 10 years in a row we were 8-9, 9-8. I'd rather have 10 years in a row of 8-9 and 9-8 than having years 4-12 and all this other crap every single year and picking top 10. Come on, man. The players look good on talent. It's there. We all get it. You could play Madden football. You could trade all your guys. Your team's gonna be great. Everything. It looks good on paper. But it's the bro. It's the coaches, bro. It's these coaches. Like Rusty said, they're stubborn. They don't change anything. They don't do nothing. Nothing at all. It's tiring, bro. It's fucking tiring. Everyone's laughing at Joe and Clark. Joe Clark's right, man. Freaking crazy. It's crazy, man. Go get King Kool-Aid up here.
Now we're gonna go Joey, then Mark, then Richard, then Maddie, and we're gonna keep going around the room like that. But go ahead, Joey.
Yo, what's up, everyone? So I can't even fucking tweet because I don't know why I got kicked off for a week, which is even more frustrating. But yeah,
Too much,
yo,
Joey, too much clickbait, bro. You got to just tweet regular.
No, literally, I wrote, you want to know why I got kicked off? I tried tweeting it. They won't let me even share a picture. But I wrote, as a joke, I hope Joe Burrow and Lyle Collins gets diarrhea so they have no left tackle and starting quarterback either. But I didn't even curse. And that's what got me kicked off under COVID guidelines, talking about getting diarrhea. But that's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. But that's ridiculous. Now, this game, yo, I can't stand this fucking defense. I really can't. I don't understand if it's just the scheme, if it's the calls, but DJ Reed, did the right thing. Low-key called them out. Quinnen Williams ripping that motherfucker was great to see. I'm so over this fucking defense because the talent is there. I would fucking empty out my bank account just for my own goddamn sanity. Get fucking Rex Ryan back here. Give him these cornerbacks that we have and this fucking defensive line. I get free safety is balls. Whitehead needs to wrap up, but we're making him drop back. That's not his fucking game. We're doing that because Joyner sucks. Linebacker, they're getting fucking Boyd on C.J. Mosley. Anyone that's on the C.J. Mosley train, yeah, he's a great fucking guy, but he stinks, bro. It's 2022. It's not 1990. He does not belong on a football field, bro. He really don't. He can't cover for shit. He's like a situational linebacker that's a good leader. The offense, LaFleur is so stubborn. He doesn't know how to call a football game. The main thing, I don't know why everyone thinks, look, the Cleveland game, bro, I disagree. I think we played good the entire game on offense, right? Up until we didn't, and then we did. But, LaFleur cannot call a game. That is a fucking art in itself. That's why you look at Peterson over in the Jaguars. He fucking went to a Super Bowl. I don't care if he's a dick, an asshole, whatever. That guy knows how to call a football game. You don't do that by accident and get to a Super Bowl. So, Sallow with all these things, fuck out of here, bro. You fucking pussy. Over that. That's just trash, bro. I'm giving this coaching staff personally 1 week, bro. 1 week. And the left tackle thing, Joe Douglas gave them all the ingredients. It's time for these bitches to cook, bro. Even Woody Johnson stepped aside, let us eat shit for fucking 3 years, finally rebuild the right way and truly stink. Woody Johnson has never done that. He's always thrown money to put a Band-Aid on it to get us all to feel good. Fitzpatrick, Marshall Decker era, just to fucking stink for another decade. This is the first time he let us suck, step back. Joe Douglas put pretty much talent everywhere outside of free safety and linebacker. But, yo, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm sorry, but I believe a lot more in DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner than fucking Ulbrich and Salah. Because when they're all looking at each other while Amari Cooper and some other motherfucker is wide open, I'm sorry, the communication sucks, and that all stems from coaching. Just like little kids, bro. I coach these little kids in football, right? I have to communicate my words to their level so they understand. It's managing people. They got to manage people however they have to. They're not doing that shit right. MLF is like a baby Shanahan, bro. He's stubborn. He's cocky. He's football royalty because they've been in the league forever, and he's not bending. And my biggest fear last year was when I watched Zach Wilson sit there and they were trying to turn him into fucking Mike White. Well, if you wanted that, bro, you shouldn't have drafted Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson don't even belong in this fucking timing and rhythm offense where they don't take advantage of mismatches and this and that. They just call play by play like a fucking, wet brain kid playing Madden. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. They don't bend whatsoever. We come out at halftime versus the Ravens. They adjusted. We didn't. We got our asses kicked. In a pretty close game that first half, outside of a missed field goal, would have been 10-6. I mean, it's like a reoccurring theme with the coaches. Anyone that says otherwise, I mean, I'm not even going to be fucking rude, but you're just selling yourself. Someone said the word Kool-Aid. Everyone's fucking drinking that shit. If you don't think these coaches need to wake up, they need to have a fucking meeting about 60% and 80%. They could take 100% of my fucking nuts, bro. I'm over it.
Yo, Joey, that was a fucking amazing take, bro. I love that shit.
Sorry, bro. I haven't been able to tweet. So, I didn't throw my TV. I got kids. I can't break shit in my house or else my wife will make me sleep outside. So that's the first time my word's been heard. I can't tweet like an idiot like I normally do. So I appreciate that rant. Hopefully some of it made sense.
Nah, bro, it made a lot of sense. And you're completely right, bro. Like I don't know. When you look at this soft zone, like, I don't know. If you was at that game yesterday, you see how open people are running consistently because we run that fucking soft zone where it's 3rd and 10, but we're going to give them fucking 8 yards. And all they have to do is run an extra 2 yards to get the fucking first down. How
Why?
about
Yeah,
like,
bro, why do they do that? Like, bro, it's
no idea.
It's like we're okay giving up 4 to 5 yard plays just to not get the one deep ball downfield. Bro, we got Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed out there that can man up on most receivers. Bro, Jamar Chase looked like a schlep until they had to move him around like I wish we did with our receivers and get him a little touchdown, a feel-good touchdown, because the motherfucker had 20 yards, bro. We just shit on one of the best receivers in the game. Literally. We can man up on these guys, but instead we're so worried about this and that. Well, guess what? You're going to get picked apart. 4 yard, 4 yard, 4 yard. You're going to accumulate fucking 9-minute drives, and our defense is going to get worn out, and then we're going to look like a bunch of ass wipes in the fourth quarter, and it's happening game in and game out because we're giving up miniature plays, and they're picking us apart. It's like, what is that, death by 1,000 paper cuts or some dumb saying? That's what the fuck our defensive scheme allows, bro. This shit worked. The Seattle, whatever the fuck it's called, that shit worked back in the day. Guess what? That shit don't work no more, bro. The league figured out how to do it.
But Joey, I don't even think it's the defense or the whole thing, because if they put up points and score, it forces the other offense to change, stuff. So
no, it's definitely points. I agree with you. Look, and we're also playing from behind. It changes like one hand washes the other. You're right with that, right? So it's hard. But then you look at the offense, and bro, Flacco on 3rd and 4 or 5, and on 4th and 4 or 5, throws 2 50-50 balls to Elijah Moore, right? I don't know if Mike LaFleur is missing a fucking eyeball, bro. If he's blind, deaf, dumb, what is wrong? But does anyone else think Garrett Wilson looks like Michael Jordan going up and getting the passes? Why are we calling that play to Elijah Moore? And then why wouldn't we throw it to Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Conklin, Uzoma, I don't know, one of these other fucking guys that seem to always be open on these short plays that we're not taking advantage of. Instead, Flacco, the fucking Jolly Green idiot, slowly throwing like a robot down the field, telegraphing everything to a 5'10" Elijah Moore on a 6'1" corner on a 50-50 ball when it's not his game. That's like getting me trying to go race Tyreek Hill, bro. It's not gonna work, guy. Like, wake the fuck up, you idiot.
Yeah, Joey, listen, bro. You're right. Those plays right there told me all I needed to know about Michael LaFleur. Like,
Facts, bro.
that fucking fourth and 5, and you're gonna throw a 40-yard bomb to Elijah Moore when it's not even like he had Eli Apple on him. He had one of their better corners. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense, and these motherfuckers clearly do not adjust.
Yeah, bro, run those plays, but then have one of your tight ends act as if he's blocking, and then roll out and just hit him real quick on a 3-yard play and let his ass stumble for 5. Like, bro, why? That's the play you call, something of the nature, bro. I ain't no play caller, but I'm saying, look, that we're not up fucking 21 points. We don't just say YOLO and bomb the shit down the field. We're trying to get in the goddamn game. Mind blowing, bro. mind blowing.
Yeah, let's definitely continue to go to these hands. We're gonna go Mark, and then we're gonna go Rich and Cap. We're gonna keep going around like that. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Benny. Good morning, Benny. Good morning, Petey, Mike, Kat, Dom, everybody. Yeah, I would say I'll start here. Prepare for a new level of anger as a Jets fan. And the reason why I say that is because there's anger at the team for not having the talent and just getting blown out because you're fielding like a college fucking or a high school team against a professional NFL team, right? That's one level of anger, and that's what we had before Joe Douglas showed up. Now we're mad, and rightly so, because the team has talent and the coaching is letting the players and the talent down. That's what we're seeing. The first game and the third game of the season were winnable football games. That's why we're so pissed off. And I've just started rewatching the game and the indictment of the coaching staff, the OC and the DC. The DC, I don't know what this guy is doing. The game plan for like Ulbrich, the game plan was horrendous. You got an offensive line that is shell shocked and was looking for a get right game. And on a 2nd and 15, they're playing a soft zone to give him an easy completion. That's fucking garbage. All right. And then secondly, but at the same time, this defensive line position group, what is it, like the highest paid in football? This 4-man front we're all so excited about.
I think
these guys can't get home. And that's infuriating. And then on the offensive side of the ball, explain to me why the offense is running empty sets when they've got 6 guys on the line of scrimmage and the tight ends aren't out there and there's no back in the backfield to chip and help out. I thought after week 1, where they didn't do that they learned their lesson because they fixed it in week 2. And then they abandoned that strategy in week 3, thinking, oh, who cares about Trey Hendrickson? That's a crock of shit. All right, you keep the protection in for your statue quarterback. You help out your talent. And having Elijah Moore, like Joey said, run on the perimeter and try to catch 50-50 balls on the outside, like it's a complete misuse of the talent on the field. And that's why the Jets lost the football game. So I still have faith in Saleh, but I think he needs to hold the clipboard. I think Ulbrich needs to take a seat. And I think LaFleur deserves a fucking talking to because he needs to start with the talent first and then scheme rather than force his scheme on these players. That's my take.
Mark, that was a very realistic take. I appreciate that take. You kind of got me fired up a little bit with calling the defensive line out. I'm gonna say it how it is. Quinnen is the only person on the defensive line that is playing with any kind of heart. You know what I'm saying? Like the numbers might not be there, but he's playing with heart. Everyone else, point blank period, is there to collect a fucking paycheck. Carl Lawson, he came off the Achilles. You know what I'm saying? Like we all knew he wasn't gonna be like the same exact player. He's a fucking nobody out there. He literally, I don't hear his name for shit all game. You're getting a bag for what? Point blank period. JFM, I kind of defended him for a while. Not gonna lie. Since he got that contract, I'm pretty sure he has more penalties than game-changing plays. What the fuck are we giving you a bag for? For what? For what? To be mid? Like, this fucking defensive line rotation is disgusting. Why the fuck did you pick JJ first round and he's not even playing 50% of the fucking snaps? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yo,
legitimately,
Where's
what are we
Huff,
fucking
Benny?
doing?
Where's Huff?
Yo, Benny.
You have Bryce Huff, who's a legitimate straight pass rusher, but no, you rather keep Nathan fucking Shepard, who isn't good at anything, point blank period, on the roster just because, you know, we're loyal to the veterans. You know what I'm saying? He deserves a shot. Hell no. Get Jordan off the fucking field. That man can't tackle. That man can't guard. Jordan Whitehead, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop trying to take everyone's freaking head off every damn play and force a damn fumble where you can just make a tackle and chances are it's a 4th down and we're getting the ball anyway. So how about you make a tackle? And as soon as that play happened, I knew that game was over. I knew it was over. We don't bounce back from shit like that. We don't know how to adjust. This team sucks at tackling. Joey, you said it. CJ Mosley, it sucks, but he ain't all that good either. This defense is so freaking overrated. It's disgusting. And this offense is disgusting. That left tackle position is horrible. George Fant, you want a bag? Fuck out of here, bro. You fucking suck. Get the fuck out of here, too, bro. Max Mitchell is playing the best on this offensive line. He was a fucking 4th-round rookie who we didn't think he was going to play this year. And he's literally playing beside AVT. That right side is playing good, and that left side is completely fucking dog shit. Like, come on, bro. This team is embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Yo, Benny.
What up?
So you touched on something, so I just wanted to elaborate. So, like, I seen those snap counts you put up, and I started rewatching the game a little bit last night. Bro, this guy Clemens and JJ, they played fucking really good. Why are they not on the field all the time, bro? Jermaine Johnson in the run game. It was like the first, I know it's only been 2 games outside of this one, but he's starting to set the edge. He's crashing in on, tackles for losses. Even when he gets pushed aside, he's a dog, bro. He don't give up. He's getting in on the tackle. Whereas, bro, where the fuck is Carl Lawson? Like that dude don't do shit.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to, there's like 5-6 hands up, Joe. Let us get hands and you can jump in. I'm sorry. Because people are going to get tendonitis in their elbow with their hands up. So just trying to loosen the room up, bro. We need to laugh too, because it's depressing. So Benny, I don't know who's in rotation, but
Richard been here from the beginning. He had his hand up, and then let's go right after that. But go ahead, Richard.
Hey, thanks, Benny. And I just want to touch on what Joe just said and what you guys were just mentioning before. Listen, I've been a Texas A&M fan my whole life. They've been known as the wrecking crew forever. And Clemens, the only reason he fell in the draft was because of an off-field problem. But we seen him in preseason. The guy was great. And touching on Lawson hasn't done shit. I don't know why Clemens isn't there and Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson, you could see the pressure coming in by leaving these guys off the field. Defense looks horrible right now. And the defensive coordinator and the staff right there are just ruining this game. So if they don't fix it this week, I mean, we should see these 2 guys starting this week because with John Franklin Myers, what he did, I mean, this is undisciplined players. And with Quentin Williams, the soft-smoking guy on the Jets, snapping out, there's a problem. And I think this is the week that we need to see some progress definitely from the defense. And no matter what Zach Wilson does on the offense, it's not going to fix the defensive problems. And I think this is the week we have to see Jermaine Johnson. He should be starting. He should be starting on one end and Clemens on the other because Lawson hasn't done shit. And we've seen Clemens in preseason. The guy's a big beast. He's an animal. He's got speed. And I wouldn't want him coming at me. Why he's left on the bench doesn't make any sense right now.
It doesn't. And I said this in the Jet Lounge page yesterday. I hate this whole mentality of, you got to rotate guys to make sure they're fresh in the 4th quarter. Well, guess what? When the fourth quarter comes around, we're fucking out of the game anyway. So you want these guys fresh for what? To score a touchdown at the end of the game that means absolutely nothing? Cut the bullshit. Get your fucking best players that are actually performing on the field. Like, I don't understand loyalty to these veterans that are proving jack shit. See, like, I don't understand that. It's just a blind faith in these guys for no real reason.
Benny, that rotation thing, though, anyways, it doesn't even make a difference because if the guys were playing 90% of the snaps, they still can't get the quarterback. So what's the difference? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. These guys don't have, what's everyone been saying, the dog in them. These guys don't look like dogs. They look like anteaters, bro.
You gotta give him time to warm up a little. You let a guy
give him time, Joey. Come on, bro. Every team has the same amount of time.
No. Look,
and everything. Come on,
I'm talking about the rotation.
Can I jump in real quick? I've been here from the beginning. I know y'all not trying to hear from no Dolphins fans, but this is basically what we went through last year before they Brian Flores was fired at the end of the year. I know it's a different situation because Brian Flores had a lot better season than Robert Saleh did, and y'all do have a lot of talent. So I think y'all are in a coaching, like you said, a coaching issue type thing, because y'all didn't go out there and get all these first round picks, have all these good players, because y'all picking the top, no offense, but y'all do pick in the top 10 a lot. So y'all not coming out there getting, some unknown players. Y'all getting some high draft picks with a lot of talent. So it gotta be something that y'all gotta change. I don't know if it's a organizational thing, which I don't think is that, because I mean Joe Douglas did have like decent drafts. So I asked the question to another Jets fan, what will happen if y'all have like another slow season? Because I mean, a lot of y'all were saying y'all were gonna 10-7.
Not me, bro. Not
shit
me.
Like that. Yeah, not you,
me.
PD, but
Hey, Z,
you know what I
does
mean.
this make any sense to you? You draft a franchise quarterback, right? And then you give him a guy who doesn't have pretty much no offensive OC experience at all, and you want him to develop with this guy. Are you kidding me? You go get a Doug Peterson or an Andy Reid type of guy to go develop a young quarterback. You don't give him a rookie OC to go develop so they can go cook salmon together on the freaking grill.
I think it doesn't really matter. Like, I get what you're saying about the OC thing, but Mike McDaniel was the first year OC last year, and he's doing perfectly fine with Tua and all his other quarterbacks. So I think it's just who y'all bring in. I really don't. I think it's just a coaching thing with y'all.
Can I jump in for 1 second? I don't listen. I think you guys had a great win yesterday. I don't want to pour cold water on it. You guys scored 21 points yesterday against a defense that lost their entire secondary.
They didn't lose their front seven though.
Hold on. I'm not done. You scored 13 points against the Patriots. Your defense scored another 7, and up until that miraculous fourth quarter, you guys were shitting the bed against Baltimore. So let's not make it out like your offense is burning up.
You can put it like that, but the fourth quarter did happen. Like the issue is y'all can't give and then take. I'm not giving and taking y'all game. What happened is what happened.
What are we doing this morning?
This is what happened. That fourth quarter did happen. We did score 21 points against a guy who, with their whole secondary, was depleted, but their front seven was still the same. What, did Von Miller not play? Matt Milano didn't play?
What I'm saying is
their defense was still there.
It's
not like
there are plenty of spaces to talk about this.
Yeah. I don't want to go into like other teams right now. Right now, we could. This is just we're gonna talk about what's going on right here with the Jets organization. But I'm gonna definitely get to everyone for sure. But go ahead, Ray.
I wasn't really trying to make it a Dolphins thing, by the way. I was just.
Oh yeah, I know. I got you, bro. I just
and to be honest with you, I could give a shit about the Dolphins right now. The facts are the facts. They're winning ball games and we're not. So I don't care what the Dolphins offense, whatever bullshit it is. We spoke about this last year. I know people are going to get, people were salty last year when I was destroying Quincy Williams. When you allow undisciplined play, it breeds. And we're watching it now happen. And this is when I lost respect.
Ray, to be fair, though, Quincy Williams played well against the run yesterday. He made a couple of big tackles, bro.
PD, I understand he makes a couple of big tackles.
But he's not the main problem of the defense, right? Quincy Williams is your scapegoat, bro. It's not Quincy Williams, but go ahead.
No, just let me finish and you can rebut me.
No problem.
The facts are is Quincy Williams is an undisciplined player. When he's not, think about it. He made that horrible play in the preseason game, and what did Saleh do? He stuck him right back out there like nothing ever happened. What made me lose respect for Saleh yesterday as a coach, as soon as JFM commits that penalty, all of a sudden, Quincy Williams was doing that all last year, and he gets pulled from the game. What are we doing? You allow a guy who gets cut because he does the same shit on other teams, on your team last year, and Quincy Williams, he did it all year last year. He did it in the preseason this year. Now you have guys on offense doing stupid things. It's undisciplined play. It breeds. That Jordan Whitehead play where he missed that tackle, that is an undisciplined play.
So
He's thinking of hold on, Petey. He's thinking of himself in that moment. I'm gonna try to do a shoulder tackle and blow up the play instead of just getting a tackle for a 10 or 12-yard gain. It's the same crap. Him and Quincy are going around trying to wreck guys' heads instead of playing smart. And the whole point with with Ulbrich, it is on him. Because when guys are running free, that is an X's and O's, a mental thing in the game. It's not talent efficiency. When you have guys like Joyner doing stupid head-hunting shots like he did again yesterday, another undisciplined play, you're going to see it more and more throughout the year. And my last point, tell George Fant to go kick rocks, because that guy was bitching and moaning all offseason for a contract, and he's probably been the worst left tackle in all football. And I don't want to hear, he moved from left side to right side, back to left. He was playing right tackle for 5 seconds. He played left tackle all year last year. Give me a break with that shit. That's all I got to say. Thanks for giving me the time.
Right. Just to rebuttal real quick. So do you think for Quinnen Williams yelling at the coach, he should have been benched? Because everybody wants to see fire. People bench. Should he have been benched?
No, that didn't affect on-field play. Penalties affect on-field play. That as soon as that penalty happened with JFM, I knew we were fucked. As soon as that happened, that's on third down.
It completely changed the game, bro.
Yeah, and then what happened? The next play, Jordan Whitehead goes for the giant tackle and misses because he's undisciplined. We break this.
Quentin got upset with the defensive line coach because he wanted a 4-man front and we blitzed. But the 4-man front doesn't even do anything. So why are you getting mad at a coach to bring an extra guy or two to go get the quarterback because their front line can't do nothing? What is the point of that?
I hear you.
Don't get mad at the defensive line coach because you can't get the quarterback.
No, I agree, bro. He should be able to take criticism. You guys want these guys to yell at them, and they do, and then this guy reacts.
I'm not looking for yelling, Petey. I'm looking for if you commit a stupid penalty that you've done 10 fucking times in the last 2 years, you should be benched. And the facts is Quincy Williams, even Jordan Whitehead, after that retarded play, it sucks we have no other safeties that could play because we got the worst safety combination probably in football right now. I would not expect this Jordan Whitehead can't cover anybody. He's always out of position looking at the corners because the corners are playing zone and he's playing man or vice versa. I don't understand it. He's supposed to be that veteran presence we brought in, and it seems like he does not know the playbook. In my eyes, he's constantly out of position, and when he gets the chance, he goes for the big hit. Yeah, it's nice every once in a while to have a highlight, but then when you go for the big hit and it doesn't work out, you give up giant plays like a 50-plus yard touchdown. We all knew the game was over right there. Anybody who thinks different, you're just not thinking what you have.
Right, I said it. I texted my friend, game over after that hit. I mean, after that John Franklin Myers penalty. I knew it. It killed them. They would have punted. It changes the whole game. They stopped them.
I agree with you, Pete. There's a lack of game sense. That was a silly. It's not knowing your job. Yep.
And listen, I don't want to hear there was no need after 3-4 steps. I don't care what Burrow said. Franklin, don't touch him. Don't touch him. Just let him be.
And there's no accountability. It all comes back at the end of the day to coaching.
All right. So then Benny, and Cap, you're next. But then you bench John Franklin Myers. Who's playing? Clemens. Okay. But they're going to be on a defensive rotation snap anyway. And they're going to, coaching staff's going to say, oh, well, he was tired. He's not used to playing 90%. So we're reaching here. We're reaching.
Honestly,
that's what they're doing. They're not. Nobody's getting fired during the year. I don't care what anybody says. And I think we're wasting our time with the accountability shit. I really do. I mean, everybody's on. we're all frustrated. It sucks. Go ahead,
I
Benny.
mean, yeah. It's just it's unfortunate when you genuinely. This is like a point that I really wanted to get to, and why I'm really having questions about this specific coaching staff is because this staff is about 20 some odd games in, right? One of the wins that we had was, I mean, a few of them were completely fucking fluky, where the Bengals game was like insane last year. We won a game when Ron Middleton was our head coach. So I don't even chalk that up to Coach Salah. So realistically, we actually beat the Titans last year. We probably had 1-2 legitimate wins since this coaching staff has been here. And most times by halftime, the game is clearly out of reach. But there's no shot, right? And when I look at other teams who frankly have a lot less talent than us, you cannot sit there and look at the Lions roster and be like, yo, they're so fucking talented. It's insane. They're breeding talent left and right. No, they're not. They're a mid team. They have okay pieces, but they're a mid team. Guess what? They're competitive in every fucking game. They should be 2-1 right now. They folded yesterday, but they're competitive and they fight tooth and nail. I remember it when I would think we were gonna interview Doug Peterson. I saw Jets Twitter. Nah, fuck that. He sucks. He fucking sucked on the Eagles. Well, he won a fucking Super Bowl. So does he really suck? And guess what he's doing now in Jacksonville? Jacksonville is not a talented team. They whipped the Chargers.
Benny, but to be fair though, they spent freaking $250 million in the offseason. They did address with mid-tier free agents, but they did build around the team. So Jacksonville was one of my surprise. I agree, but you got to remember too, you're basing this off of the worst roster in Jets history last year. They get a pass for last year. This year they can't. But you're basing that off of a roster that was complete dog shit last year. So you can't base the whole coaching staff.
So were the Jaguars, Petey.
The Jaguars had just as bad a roster.
Jaguars were terrible too, and look at them. You know what they did?
Right.
They gave you.
Why you guys always got excuses for this team, bro?
I'm not giving the coaching staff. I just said this year they brought in a
Petey.
Every loss, you guys got excuse for this team, bro.
Petey, you see what the Jaguars did? You see what the Jaguars did? They brought in a guy,
a coach that won a Super Bowl,
who not even win a Super Bowl, who knows how to work with quarterbacks and young quarterbacks. He knows
how to win.
Okay, he knows how to win. You don't give a franchise quarterback a fucking rookie OC.
Thank you.
I sound like you right now, Petey, yelling.
I agree.
You don't do that, man.
What are you
It's so idiotic, man.
So now what are we going to do? We'll fire LaFleur at the end of the year and bring in a veteran.
Fire his bitch ass and that DC, PD. They both got to go.
Right, but what I'm saying is now we
stop having excuse for this team. Look at the Lion, like you guys was talking about earlier. Look at the fucking Jacksonville Jaguar, bro. Come on.
Give Sean Payne a blank round pick, all these other guys, blah, 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 signings you did, and the special teams is number one.
So Joe,
come on, bro.
Joe and Ozzy.
Good game, bro. That's what he does.
Hang on one sec.
You saw good games, bro.
Hold on.
Dust it off. Let's go.
One at a time.
All right. So no excuses here. It's all right. It's all right because we're all boys here for the most part. If the Jets win this weekend, right? This shit's all gonna go away again. It's all gonna.
And if they don't, then what?
And it shouldn't. Unfortunately,
we're playing the Dolphins. Next week we're playing the Packers. Next week we're playing the Broncos. Then what? What are you going to say when we're 0-7? What are you going to say? The same old Jets, right? The same old Jets.
Joe,
that's what everyone's going to say. Nobody wants to hear it, though.
What a broken record with this guy now.
That's the problem. Nobody wants to hear it. People, you know what? Number one thing in life is nobody wants to hear the truth about shit. That's the problem
about it, right? This team, Jojo,
stop being stupid. Everyone's got excuses for this damn team, man. Everybody.
In 2 years, this team
Woody
went
Johnson
fucking
fire
7 games,
himself.
bro. 7 games. 7 games in 2 years.
Give Justin
what did you guys?
I
might have to use it.
Yeah.
But what did you guys expect when you guys saw this schedule? I said I'll be happy if they were 2-1.
Cap, go ahead.
2-2 going into the Dolphin game. It's crazy what some of this expectation is with this team. With a hurt
With a backup quarterback, PD. With a backup quarterback, but we conveniently forget that.
All right, we'll get to hands though.
Yeah, go ahead, Cap. Go ahead, Cap.
I don't know. I guess I put the game on the defense, but I also look at it and say, everybody wants to get mad that Saleh didn't say nothing when Quincy Williams did that in the preseason. But yesterday, I saw him eating JFM's lunch over it. He turned around. He started talking to him in the middle of the game. He was pissed off. Okay? So, I mean, it's which one do you want? Do you want him to not say nothing? Or do you want him to say something? You know what I'm saying? You can't. And then when he pulled him, there was no pass rush. There was no pass rush. He had to put him back in. He had no real choice. I put this game more on the defense. I don't put it on LaFleur because you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. You can't. And you know what? As many weapons and pieces, I saw moments where Flacco had time and he was skipping balls off the turf. He was throwing them high. He was throwing them low. So, and for, like JoJo, you're saying, well, how do we not have a offensive coordinator with experience? We brought a quarterback coach in who got killed. He died.
But
you know what I'm saying?
A quarterback coach is not going to make your whole offense better. He's going to make your quarterback better. That's it. And a quarterback that's not even playing.
And you haven't seen that quarterback once this season yet.
The quarterback's not even playing.
Right, you haven't seen him yet, so you don't know what you're dealing. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. You can't get upset that LaFleur has a limited quarterback. I don't care what weapons you have. You could have the greatest show on turf. If you have somebody who's just not a competent quarterback, there's nothing you can do about it. There were times Flacco had time. He made the wrong read. He made a bad throw. He looked scared in the pocket. Listen, I put the game on the defensive coordinator. I think that Saleh needs to either take the reins and say, listen, let's collaborate, because he's not going to fire him. Let's be realistic. He needs to take more of the reins on it and just say, okay, I got to do this the way I got to do it. It's awful that you have. I don't think White. Listen, as much as White had made a blunder play yesterday by not wrapping up, I also think it's more along the lines of he knows that Joyner next to him is terrible, and that split second is making him fucking look worse than what he really is. I'll be honest with you. That's just me. I think Joyner is so bad. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why. And I hate Ashton Davis. But you know what? At least the guy's got recovery speed. This Joyner looks like a fucking... I said it in a chat. LaMarcus Joyner is... Watching him play football is like watching a fucking coat hanger abortion. It's awful.
Damn.
Sheesh. But listen, you're not wrong, bro. And this game is mostly on the defense, but I do put some hope. And trust me, Joe Flacco wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. There were guys running open at certain points, and he just checks it down. There was a few times I saw Elijah Moore literally running open 15, 20 yards downfield, and we just don't get it to him. I seen it on Twitter yesterday. I'm not going to say the majority of people, but a lot of people are starting to question, is Elijah Moore really that good? Why can't Elijah separate? No, you think that because when you're watching it on a TV screen, the only thing you see is when we're throwing 50-50 balls to him. But when he's getting open, running ridiculous routes, we're not hitting him. He's not going to make the contested catch. You hit him in stride, he's going to get open, and we're just not doing that right now. And I kind of put the onus on Mike LaFleur on this thing right here. The whole offseason, we were convinced we were going to be running the ball. When we do run the ball, we are somewhat successful doing so. Not every play, obviously, but we're somewhat successful doing so. And I posted this stat right up top. I think it's a few scrolls to the right. The NFL record for pass attempts in a season is 740. And on pace right now, we are close to throwing 900 times. We're close to destroying that record. And for what? With Joe Flacco as your quarterback. And I get it where we've been down more times than not. But we abandon it even when we're down by 3. We're just we're gonna fucking go out and throw the ball. Run the damn fucking
real
ball.
Quickly, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think my biggest problem is when they're playing guys. That I put on LaFleur. When guys are in, and I'm gonna say it like this. Why, if you're throwing the ball, all right, why is Brees Hall in as your pass catching back? He was known as a downhill runner, one cut, make it go. What Michael Carter is supposed to be your pass catching threat. And I get it. He beat Hall out for the starting job. But you know what? When you're throwing the ball, why is Michael Carter not in to be able to make those catches? Brees Hall took his eyes off the ball yesterday, or that's a first down. A veteran don't do that. Michael Carter don't do that. So if I'm going to blame the offensive coordinator, I'm going to say the guys who are in during these situations, I think are way off. I think they're way off.
Yeah, there's definitely the substitutions are pretty questionable. I don't understand though.
Football with substitutions is ridiculous. By no means do I think Salah's got to go. I think if anything, Ulbrich needs to take a back seat. And let's see. Listen, it's not going to look pretty this week. I'm telling you right now. Zach Wilson is going to look rusty. Zach Wilson, he hasn't played. You know what I'm saying? Look at what Joe Burrow. Look at what Joe Burrow did. He had an appendectomy. He looked very rusty his first few games. You know what I'm saying? Expect the same thing. This is a guy who took a team to a Super Bowl. So now you're expecting a second-year guy who missed half the season to come out and light it up. It's gonna look rusty.
It's gonna look ugly. It's gonna look ugly. And I don't have the confidence in the coaching staff to make him comfortable. We're not going to do things to make it easier for him. It's not going to happen, especially with this offensive line being what it is. We're not going to create plays that make it easy for Zach to get into a rhythm. That's not what we're going to do. And then when it comes to this whole running back situation, someone said in the space yesterday, and it was a fucking fantastic point. Pick a fucking running back who's going to get 60 or 40%. Stop with this 50-50 bullshit. Like, running backs need to get into a rhythm, like multiple plays at a time. Like, I don't know, this whole 50-50, you made a 5-yard run. All right, come off the field. Go ahead, Michael Carter. You give it a try. No, pick a guy. Michael Carter's the starter. Cool. Trot him out there most of the time. Make him be a pass catcher. He doesn't go down at first contact. Boom, Michael Carter. You're getting 60% of the snaps for right now. Or 70%. I don't care. Stop this 50-50. I saw Jeff Smith out there a lot yesterday. Like, what the fuck? Like stop that. Stop the rotation. Like, that's ugly stuff, bro. But let's keep going. I'm going Mario and then Joey and then Joe. So go ahead, Mario.
Yeah, I think Cap hit it on the head, man. The coaches have some blame, but the fact that we're just roasting the coaches and not the players whatsoever is just mind-boggling. Like earlier, Joey Jets and I forgot who else was talking about the 4th and 5 to Elijah Moore. Michael Nania posted it. There was a picture. Conklin was wide open, 10 yards out, and Gary Wilson was also open, like 15 yards out. Flacco decided to throw the ball to Elijah Moore. You can't say that was the play call. We don't know. Like, it goes beyond what we know. We're just casual fans. And everybody just roasting them when we don't really know what's going on is crazy. The scheme also, our scheme is 4-3. If the 4 guys ain't putting pressure, that's on them. Like, we sent the extra blitz out. That's the whole problem with Quentin Williams, what he was upset about. But if we're not getting pressure with the 4 guys, it can't solely be on Ulbrich. Even Ulbrich, I don't like Ulbrich, but you can't just blame him. We're not getting the pressure. That's our whole scheme depends on pressure. Burrow had all day to throw. How do you expect to stop a great quarterback with 7 seconds to throw in the pocket? Like what are we talking about here? And I understand
good point.
The personnel maybe needs to change. That Quentin Williams should be playing more snaps. That I agree with. He shouldn't be playing 67%. But all this other nonsense that we gotta fire this, it's 3 games in, and I know we should be 0-3, but we're 1-2. If we would ask anybody here, would you take 1-2 before Zach comes back? We all would have signed for it. But that's it.
No, you're right. We definitely would have took 1 and 2 before Zach came back. And I think there's definitely, like you said it, Mario, there's blame to go around left and right. Coaching staff not putting players in position, and even when they're in position of players, absolutely fucking shitting the bed. Like, it's, I don't know. The defensive line is probably the biggest disappointment for me personally watching this game, because this was supposed to be our deepest unit and probably one of our most effective units, and it has been nothing short of abysmal through 3 games. And I don't necessarily see it getting better, because we couldn't do it against one of the worst offensive lines in the league consistently until, the game didn't really matter anymore. And then we were getting to the quarterback. So I'm gonna be interested to see how we start to, if we have the balls to try different things and try to manufacture some pressure, because with some of the quarterbacks coming up on our schedule, it's
You know
gonna
what,
it's
Benny?
gonna be even
They
worse.
said
It's gonna be
Burrow
even
was
worse.
getting rid of the ball on the average of 2 seconds.
Yo, one more thing, Benny. So another thing, if you take out all the bonehead plays that had nothing to do with coaching, right? JFM's penalty, Whitehead's missed tackle that ended up in a touchdown, Flacco fumbling the ball, the game's a lot closer, and the defense holds them in the teens. If all this, like, how are you guys blaming the coach? It's mind-boggling to me. It was errors by players.
Yeah, no, the players completely shed the bed. There was no real standout player yesterday. That besides Greg the fucking leg. Congratulations, we have a kicker finally. But
Mario,
yeah,
the
no, you're
Bengals,
totally
the
right, Mark.
Bengals should have had.
I totally agree. Go ahead, Joe and Clark.
Hey, what's up? Go ahead, Jojo. You want to say something? Go ahead, Jojo. Go ahead, talk.
No, I'm just saying the Bengals should have had 35 points instead of what they had,
Nah,
bro.
Jojo went down to listening, bro. So you go ahead.
No, he's talking, Ben. You just can't hear him.
All right, guys. Look, coaches are supposed to put players in the best position to win games, correct? They're supposed to devise a scheme so they can be the most successful. I mean, let's be honest. None of us, I think, like Albrecht from last year. They were horrific last year. Those games against the Colts, the game of Patriots, giving 50 points, the Bills 50 points, the Colts 47 points. I mean, it was ridiculous. Worst in the league in every category. And going into the season, I thought our strength was definitely going to be our defensive line because of the pieces we added. I mean, we all know, Lawson coming back was almost like signing another free agent. Coming off of the Achilles, we still thought this guy's fully healed. It's going to be a force. We draft Clemens and Johnson. We get Jacob Martin from Houston. We get Solomon Thomas. This is now going to be our strength, and we're going up against an offensive line that gave up 13 sacks in 2 weeks. And basically, except for late in the game, we did not. In the first half, we had no sacks. I mean, there was times when Burrow, I'm counting 1, Mississippi, 2, Mississippi, 3, Mississippi, 4, Mississippi, 5. He's rolling around, going. It's like, what are we doing? How are we not getting pressure? I mean, we weren't blitzing. I mean, we should be able to get there with our front that we have. I mean, there's so many issues with this team. Look, and you guys, I keep bringing it up. I know people are laughing at me. Woody Johnson's 77 years old, I think, right now. And I go back to Leon Hess. When Leon Hess was like 85, he knew he had how much longer did he have to live. He wanted to see a winner before he died. He got Bill Parcells in here and had him run the whole show. I'm sorry, guys. Saleh's not the answer. He's not a head coach. He's not. He's not. I don't think he's a great communicator. I don't think he's a great disciplinarian. I think it's like, it's too soft. I speaking to Brian Costello, he was telling me he runs the softest practices in 30 years he's been covering the Jets. He goes twice as soft as even Gaze. You would be surprised. So I mean, like that alone, plus I'm not a believer in Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, guys, and you guys get on me. I'm sorry, I'm not. He's not the guy. I'm telling you right now. Next year, we're going to be sitting here wondering did we trade for somebody? Did we get to draft somebody? I'm sorry, I just don't think he's the guy. I don't see it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. So there's a lot of issues here, man. I really think the first and foremost is you got to bring in a whole new regime here. And if I understand you guys are like, let's give him time, but guys, sometimes we don't need to wait 3, 4, 5 years. We've done that before. If it's broke, guys, it's time to fix it and fix it with somebody else. I don't see this regime doing it, man. Joe Douglas has done a very good job. I'll give him credit for that. But the thing is this coaching staff is horrific. And if we could get Sean Payton, and I understand, look, everybody thinks he's going to go to Dallas, but if Woody Johnson gives him everything, the sun, the moon, the stars, and basically said, look, you could run the show. If you want to come here, I'll let you run everything. I'm sorry, Joe Douglas. You did a good job, but I'm sorry. To get Sean Payton to coach my team and coach my quarterback, if if there's a shred that Zach could still be saved at that point, let's say he has a bad year, I'm bringing in Sean Payton, man. I don't see any other way, guys. We're not winning with Saleh as the head coach. We're not going anywhere. We've seen it before. It's going to be the same movie we've seen over and over again. You guys are going to be like, oh, here he goes complaining. But guys, I'm usually right, guys. I've been saying this for 40 years. Every year, I'm usually right. It's not like I'm. Let's be honest. I mean, like I know I'm negative, but this is the same shit every year. It's going to be the same shit at the end. When we win 4 games this year, we're going to be sitting here during the draft. Okay, we have the 3rd pick. Who do we take? Do we trade the pick? Maybe get a quarterback? I mean, it's a mess. I mean, I thank God the Mets are playing good this year because I'd really be depressed. But I had nothing else to say, bro.
Yeah, nah, I don't know. There's definitely blame to go around everywhere, bro. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not over, like by any stretch of the imagination. We're only 1-2. We're going into Pittsburgh. It's a tough place to play. We traditionally do not play well there, but at the same time, they're a fucking pretty shitty team right now. I pray to God, Coach Saleh takes the clipboard and runs the defense this week, because we really might make Mitch Trubisky look like a fucking NFL quarterback once again, kind of how we did with Jacoby Brissett. And the Steelers are down TJ Watt. They're missing players. They're not a great team, so that should be a win. So but the season isn't over by any
God,
stretch
we're
of
not
the
a great,
imagination.
Benny. We're not a good team, though. Let's be honest. We
Oh,
really,
no,
except for a minute 55, we're not a good team this year. And so, I mean, they're home, and they always beat us there, except for one time. So, I mean, and you're asking Zach, who hasn't had any cohesiveness with the offense at all. He hasn't really practiced with them. He hasn't played with them except for 2 minutes in the Philly game. I mean, he's going to be rusty, man. I mean, where's the that's what I'm worried about. I mean, I would rather give him a softer landing than that game. To me, a softer landing would be a home game or something. But then again, following week is Miami at home. That's not going to be easy either. So
No,
I guess people are like, stop babying them, throw them out there, let them learn the hard way, whatever. But you guys are expecting a lot for the Jets. The Jets win this game. I mean, that would be one of the great wins in the last 10 years for this franchise.
No. It's gonna be an ugly game, and this is what I'm gonna say right now. Looking forward into next week, the Pittsburgh Steelers are for the past few years, and this year also, are literally the worst against the run. They're terrible against the run. So with Zach Wilson coming back, and if you're gonna stay here and try to continue to fucking pass the ball 40 plus times and not hand the ball over to Breece Hall or Michael Carter most of the damn game, you're setting him up for failure. You're setting him up for failure. And we're gonna go out there, we're gonna make Mitch Trubisky look good, and we're gonna lose, and we're gonna be 1-3, and we're gonna be facing Miami, who's riding a fucking hot hand right now, and probably get smacked by them. And then by that, it's over, because then we know this the schedule. There's no easy landing. We're gonna face Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna face obviously Josh Allen. There's no soft landing. So I don't know. It's gonna be a learning curve for sure right now. But let's definitely keep going to the jokes, and then Joe. So go ahead, jokes. Yo, jokes, you there?
Come on, jokes. It's coffee time. Let's go.
All right, we're gonna go to.
My bad. I was making my coffee.
No,
I just the fact of the matter is, we got the most expensive D line, right? Everybody keeps talking about it. Why couldn't they contain Joe Burrow yesterday? Like, I thought that you got to push up the middle, and where the fuck were our DNs? Like, why was Joe Burrow scooting out of the pocket to make plays? Like, those are, and Salah's made his calling card on a D line. That's what he talks about. Like, these are problems that they need to be fixed. And I don't know if this is the coaching staff to fix them.
I just posted. It's crazy. You're talking about the defensive line right now. I just posted something on the Jumbotron. It's probably not up yet for everyone to see. But through 3 games, there's not a single edge rusher that has a full sack. Carl Lawson has a half a sack. Jacob Martin has half a sack. Jermaine has half a sack. Sheldon, Quincy, and Quinnen all have 1. So
and Benny, that's why sometimes when you're 1 pick away, look at the kid from Detroit last week. What do you have? 3 sacks? I think he had 2 sacks yesterday. I mean, he's a monster. That's what sometimes, we just missed again. We're always so close. The close was Boza, close to him. I mean, it's like, it sucks. It's like.
Yeah. In most years, I would agree. I wouldn't say as much this year because Sauce has proven to be really fucking good. He took whenever matched up one-on-one, he gave up one big catch, but it was a fucking terrific catch, and he's been holding his own for the most part. He's a game changer for sure. Our cornerbacks are the only bright spot on that defense, so I'm not even necessarily mad at missing Aiden Hutchinson. But I feel you. I see exactly what you mean. But go ahead, Joe.
Yo, you stole my thunder a little bit there, Benny, with the on pace for 900 passing attempts. There's a couple of things I want to address. One,
my bad, bro. My bad.
No, it's all good because I want to add to it. So I want to address something that Mario and Petey brought up when they were losing their minds of what do I expect from this coaching staff? I expect a coaching staff that doesn't look inept and looks like that it's rigidly adhering to its scheme over the players that they have. When you say something like, what do I expect from the players? Like, what can you do when they're making mistakes? You can't do anything because there's only so many players you can get in one offseason, and you can't replace them during the season. A coaching staff is supposed to adapt to the players that they have, not be so rigidly adhering to, we're going to do a 4-man rush all the time. We're not going to stunt. We're not going to add like a 5th blitzer. Someone posted a stat this morning that the Jets have the 5th lowest blitz percentage, and they only get to the quarterback 13% of the time. Whereas the 49ers run the exact scheme. They blitz even less, the 3rd fewest in league, but they get to the quarterback 25% of the time. When I see the Jets throw the ball 40 and 50 plus times a game with their backup quarterback, no team goes into a game plan willingly accepting that they're going to have their backup quarterback throw the ball 50 times. You wouldn't even expect Zach Wilson to throw the ball 50 times. Nobody wants their starting quarterback. You go for balance. And this isn't a case where the Jets have been so far out of it by the first quarter that they're throwing the ball. LaFleur comes out after his halftime adjustments, and he's rigidly adhering to this, I'm going to gun the ball down the field with Joe Flacco. And then when they throw the ball at that point, it's vanilla, it's predictable, and the defense is squatting on it, and they break up the passes. Why does this team have talent in short to intermediate receivers, but they're throwing the ball 15 to 30 yards down the field? When Berrios is on the field, it's predictable. It's an end around. Well, if the team has no time to throw the ball down the field, shorten the routes, throw your screens to Michael Carter, throw your rub routes, your in and out routes to Berrios, mix in Wilson and more. This is not complicated, guys. When we're saying this is on the coaching, it's because they're outthinking themselves. These guys are acting like they're the smartest people in the room, but they're the only one. There's an old saying that if you look in a room and you can't spot the fool, it's you. These guys are so fucking absurd with their like adherence to we're that smart. We know what we're doing. Now, when Joe says that Zach Wilson's not the guy, I disagree with him, but I can't argue with him because I don't think this coaching staff is going to put him in a position to succeed. I look at something like what the Bears are doing right now. The Bears have no talent around Justin Fields, and they're 2-1 because Eberflus plays a sound game every single week and has that team in a position to succeed. So something like when Mario says, what are you supposed to do when Whitehead doesn't tackle or JFM makes like a stupid – it's a culture thing. There is a complacency on this team where players are allowed to get away with selfish bullshit.
Wait, Joe, can I just jump in on that? But you're saying it's a culture thing. So Jordan Whitehead completely lost his mind now, coming from a Super Bowl winning team to here as a competitive. No way. There's no way his
Absolutely,
instinct.
Petey.
Why
would you think that a guy goes on a team with Tom Brady and makes smart plays to suddenly he's in Robert Saleh and goes, I can make a highlight play. I got
Joe,
my
you
money.
think,
It's
Joe,
a culture thing, Petey.
all right, Joe, you honestly think that that's, bro, I've done it even in softball, bro. I changed teams and I brought my swag to the other team. That's bullshit, bro. There's no
It's
way
not
that
bullshit, Petey.
bro, there's no way. There's no way.
You
And
know, Petey,
I'm as
you're telling me
competitive
that a
as,
guy suddenly forgot how to tackle?
No. But I don't want to hear that culture stuff, bro.
Petey, why in the world would you on a six-man blitz where you're at zero coverage decide I'm going to be the sole hero and hit a guy with my shoulder?
Jojo, I'm saying the mentality part. I'm saying from my perspective, the mentality part. There's no way.
But Petey, that's you. But Petey, that's you. I respect where you're coming
Joe,
from.
I know you're not
but
yelling
we're
at me.
talking about a guy who made a selfish play.
I don't know, man.
Petey, I would never expect you to make a selfish play like that. You can bring your swag, you can bring your attitude,
hell no.
but you have to
Hell
know
no.
on a six-man blitz, you got to do everything to get a guy down, not go for a fucking blow-up hit.
And I'll go.
That's coaching, Joe. Coaching.
Joe, I'll go further off. Like if my team was down and shit, I would fucking start talking shit to the other team just to get somebody riled up to wake everybody up. So that,
but that's different, Petey. That's a thing of trying to motivate your team. There's a difference between doing something to motivate your team and playing selfish and stupid. In a six-man blitz is not the time to be selfish and stupid. Quincy Williams, when he was going out there and he was laying out the running back on a tackle for loss like a couple drives later, that's not selfish and stupid. He did fire up his team, but the offense had nothing at that point. Quincy was trying to bring the momentum back. There's a difference. There's a time and a place, and that's what I mean by culture. It's a guy having the awareness of the game situation to do those things.
Joe, and just to go off real quick, your point about the way they came out in the second half, they were only down by 2 scores. So you come out and you score, you're right back in the game. And he went, I can't believe how aggressive he was. Like, just stick to it.
Exactly. He did not need to. Like, that was the time to come out and reestablish the run, especially when the offensive line is struggling to block.
Joe,
I have a question.
Joe. Let me rebuttal to that real quick. Although, Joe, you do make some good points. Disciplinary, yes, I agree. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. To put Whitehead's missed tackle on Salah is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't see how you could blame that on culture. That has nothing to do with Salah.
I just explained it. It's a culture of selfishness and then not accountability to the team.
That's a pile of crap.
Like Mario, individually, no, I cannot go out there and say Robert Saleh was the reason that he did this. But there is a sense, like when you're on a team that has accountability and that has awareness of, oh, I have to do my job here or the team will suffer, versus I'm just going to go out there and do this because I feel like laying this guy out. It's a thing that's established going up to it. It's all the training that goes up to game day. That's what you guys aren't like grasping of this. It's whoever was saying this is a soft practice leading up to this, or it's everything that leads up to game day. It's the little things, guys. This team is not detail oriented.
Real quick, who was the corner that was
Carter
on
too.
that play?
It was Michael Carter too.
Oh, okay. So Michael Carter was covering him one-on-one, and then Whitehead came up for the big hit.
Yeah, and he knocked Carter out of the play.
And he knocked Carter out of the play. You know, think about it. If it goes the other way and you know he lights him up, then all of a sudden it's a big play and let's get fired up. I mean, it happens.
Well, I know we still got a few hands up. I was at the game with Happy, and so me and him was chatting it up for a while. So go ahead, Happy. Let me hear how you feeling this morning, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, same. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Same as I did yesterday. I think this is a game where, honestly, the Jets had an opportunity to, step on a team that was reeling. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, listen, the Bengals are a good team. Give the Bengals respect. Again, they have, probably a three-headed monster at receiver. Joe Mixon's good, but they were reeling. Let's be honest. I mean, Joe Burrow looked horrific week 1, week 2.
They had their freaking Cooper Rush was dealing on them. So this was a game like this was a statement game. This is the game we needed for Zach to come back. We're 2-1, some good confidence going into Pittsburgh, and instead they don't score a fucking touchdown. What a joke. What a and then again Robert Saleh, who I like the initial hire, just keeps coming up on the fucking podium and then just keeps trying to tell us, oh well, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Where's the fucking fire? Where's this fire? Where's this accountability? I said it yesterday. Brian Daboll fucking gets in his players' faces and holds them accountable. When Daniel Jones made a mistake, he was in his face like, what the fuck are you doing? He sits Kenny Golladay, who's making $17 million. Where's this accountability? I go back to the preseason when Quincy Williams laid out Hurts. He kept him Quincy Williams in the game. What are you doing? There's no accountability. There's no fire. It's a joke. It's stupid. And I don't want to keep repeating, I tweeted it out, but I want to keep repeating myself. I know we've all been Jet fans for a very long time, all of us. And we've all seen like players leave. DeBrickashaw Ferguson is the biggest fucking loss I've ever seen for this football team. We can't even get anybody play average. Like not even anything. It's been horrible. George Fant wants to get paid. I wouldn't even give him $1 raise for the way this guy's playing at left tackle. He's terrible. Absolutely garbage. No time at all. And again, I get it. It's Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is good. So I'm going to give respect where respect is due. But, bro, fucking block. Give somebody this guy some freaking time to throw. And another play that I looked at Benny, and Benny and I were talking like, what the fuck are you doing? It's 4th and 5. I believe it was still the third quarter, late in the third, and they throw a fade route to Elijah Moore. What are you doing? Get the first down. Why are you throwing a fucking fade route to the end zone to Elijah Moore when you're down? Get the first down. Keep the freaking drive alive, and instead, no, they throw a fade route. Just stupid. Just dumb. And then we said it all week that this was the game our defensive line needed to wake up. And our defensive line, once again, laid a fucking goose egg until the fourth quarter. Then the fourth quarter, they want to sack Joe Burrow. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's embarrassing. Again, I look at these other teams that have way less talent than we do, and they're playing miles ahead better than we are. It's terrible. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, first things first, you got to go to coaching. There's no accountability. I've been saying it all summer. Jeff Ulbrich is garbage, and Saleh needs to do something instead of standing there with his bald head looking stupid. And I don't know. Again, let's see what happens now. It's been tough, obviously, offensively. Joe Flacco's our backup quarterback. He's not our starter. So let's see how our offense is going to look going into Pittsburgh. I expect Zach to come out a little bit rusty because, no pun intended, rusty. What's up? Good morning. I expect him to come out a little bit rusty because he pretty much only played a drive and a half in the preseason. So, we'll see what happens. Again, Pittsburgh is another team that looks shot. Pittsburgh looks awful. But, of course, here comes the Jets, and I'm sure we'll make Mitchell Trubisky look like fucking Joe Montana out there. I hope not, but this is what the Jets have done time and time again. They make all these garbage quarterbacks like Mitchell Trubisky, like they did Jacoby Brissett, look like freaking like these guys should be in the Hall of Fame. There's got to be some accountability, and this team needs to wake up because I know it's early, but it's been pretty, especially at home. The Jets, especially in front of your home crowd, how embarrassing. One touchdown so far at MetLife Stadium from the Jets. How embarrassing for your home fans. What a joke.
Hey, if Quentin Williams would have got
It is embarrassing.
we would have won the game. 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 We
But yeah, bro, let's keep going to the hands. Mark, I see you there. You got the speaker ready though, so I'm gonna go to Fire Obrick, and then Mark, and then Justin. So go ahead, bro.
Yeah, just 2 points. Brees Hall is averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
I'll be
He
right
has
back.
20 carries this year. I don't understand what the fuck they're doing. They keep trying to throw it on first down, even after they get like 10 yards on running the ball. And then the defense. If you watch these press conferences from Olbrick and Sal, they literally tell you we're going to play zone on first and second down, and then we're going to play man on third down. So if you're listening to that, like it's going to be easy. Like that Dolphins coach is probably licking his chops going against the Jets calling plays because his fucking defense is horrible. It's so predictable. You know what they're going to do. The only time they blitz is inside the 10-yard line, and they get destroyed because they should be playing zone. It's a joke. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. To me personally, our defense is a much bigger worry than our offense. If you like genuinely watch the game, like there's situations where, like plays could have been made. Elijah Moore's gotten open. A good quarterback gets him the ball. We get the ball downfield a little bit. I think with a good quarterback, I think our defense is obviously the biggest question mark. I see nothing from our defense. I at least see people getting open on offense, and it's just our inept left tackle and our quarterback who can't move for shit or can't really see downfield. Our quarterback is just not delivering the ball where it needs to be. It's just our defense that's the biggest concern. And for the love of God, for Coach Salah's job, for our sanity, please, for love, do not let Jeff Ulbrich call plays anymore. I get it, your scheme is your scheme, but you got to change it up. You said it right there. Zone the first two downs, and then we're gonna play man third down when it's like third and fucking one. I don't know, bro. There needs to be a little bit more creativity on that defense, and this defensive line needs to fucking wake up. I don't know what needs to happen, but we need to learn how to manufacture pressure if our front four isn't getting there. It's the NFL. There's no terrible quarterback that can't get the ball downfield if they have no pressure in their face all game. Like, your front four isn't getting it done. Cool. Do something else. Run a stunt. Fucking get someone to blitz. Get a corner blitz. I don't see enough of those. Like, do something different. Everything is so fucking obvious, and I see it. I'm not a fucking NFL quarterback, but even in those times that we are gonna blitz, I'm seeing it. I'm like, bro, oh, this nigga's about to blitz right here. And I said it. I was like, I think Michael Carter was covering Tyler Boyd. He bluffed so early. He was like at the line of scrimmage. I was like, oh, bro, Michael Carter's going to fucking go blitz. Tyler Boyd's going to catch it in the flat. He's going to get a first down. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not an NFL quarterback. It's obvious. This defense is so easy to read. And it makes sense why they're able to get the ball out really quickly. Because I know exactly where the holes are going to be in the zone because we run the same fucking shit. And it's time and time again. This defense is the biggest concern, and that needs to change. Jeff was a horrible hire from the beginning. And we'll see what happens with the offense when Zach comes back. It's going to be ugly the first game. But I think Zach opens up a lot of extra things that we want to do in this offense. So I'm not judging the offense solely just yet. But this defense, with all the pieces that we added and being still one of the worst in the league, there's no excuse for that, especially when your head coach is a defensive guy. He made his mark. He got a head coaching job because he's a defensive guy. And for 2 years, we're one of the worst defenses in the league. No excuse. No excuse. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Benny, to your point and to Joe B's point from earlier, I mean, there's a big difference between San Francisco's front four and the Jets' front four, and that's Nick Bosa. This defensive line room just can't get home rushing for. So, I mean, looking ahead to next week, this defense, the linebacking core and the secondary, they're going to have to bring a fifth guy to try to create pressure because these front four just aren't getting home. I got to see that this week coming up. And then on the offensive side of the ball, with Zach coming back, and I am expecting rust, like if the game plan, again, if we're putting the coaching under a microscope, if the game plan for Zach doesn't include like extra protection in, feature the run game because it got gashed by Cleveland with the run game, and then do some play action to just run some bootlegs, run some play action. Like, if we don't see that kind of game plan this week, then it's 100% Mike LaFleur's fault in calling the game. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, 100%. To my point earlier, you just said it in a different way, but the Steelers are the worst against the run. Or I know they're bottom 3 against the run in the league right now. With Zach coming back, with your left tackle being in flux, if for some reason we're passing the ball more than we're running the ball, Mike LaFleur, you're setting up Zach for failure. Point blank period, setting him up for failure. And when we are passing the ball, for the love of God, stop with these routes that need 20, 25 yards to freaking develop. Why? Can we get a few more screen passes? I don't see enough of those. Can we get a little creative, make it easier? We have route runners. I don't know, people forget that Garrett Wilson gets free off the line of scrimmage every time. Elijah Moore gets free off the line of scrimmage almost every single time. Can we make it a little bit easier for our quarterbacks instead of having to fucking drop back fucking 5 steps, read the defense, and when your left tackle can't block a soul, you're not going to go anywhere. We need to run the ball. We need to get our tight ends involved. We allocated mad resources for some reason not to really get them the ball. Tyler Conklin got a bunch of catches yesterday when it really didn't even really matter anymore. So can we get these people involved early? I don't know. I'm giving the offensive pass for now because I really want to see what they do and how they look like with Zach Wilson. I'm going to give them a few more weeks. But I've seen enough from this defense from the point last year to what we're doing now. Last year, we had no fucking talent on the defensive side of the ball. Granted, but we added talent this year, and that talent is underperforming. I don't know if this is the fact that they suck or our scheme is just fucking horrible, which I think it's the latter because, I don't know, I've seen plays where – or Jordan Whitehead, he didn't totally forget how to fucking play football. Like Sauce and DJ Reed are doing what they need to do, but I think it's just a scheme that they're not adjusting. They're not adjusting to what the roster is. We don't have Nick Bosa. Cool. So you're not going to get the same production. So you got to do something else. I don't see us running stunts that often. I don't see us getting creative with blitzes. There's really nothing there. And Joey Jett said it earlier. Jermaine Johnson hasn't necessarily gone to the quarterback, but he's been really good against the run, setting the edge and getting somewhat pressure. It's not, like Carl Lawson, you're not producing right now. Why keep him out there so much? Get other guys. Michael Clemens, he disrupts. Why is he not out there more? Just this defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, he's horrible, man. He's horrible. No reason. But go ahead, Justin, and then we're gonna go Jets for life. Yo, Justin, you there, bro? All right,
I'm
we're
here.
gonna go to Jets for life. Go ahead, bro.
I'm here.
Oh, all right. Go ahead, Justin.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? See a lot of sad folks here today, fortunately. I just don't see it with this coaching staff anymore, honestly. And I'm Mr. Positive. You guys know this. But to be honest with you guys, it's like Happy said it best, there's no accountability. The defense, I'm sorry that Williams got hurt. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because he was killing us. He killed us. That game, we had so many opportunities to win. But you guys are at the stadium yesterday, and if I'm correct, I can't see the whole field, but Elijah Moore looks like he's open every goddamn time.
He is, bro. He is.
Garrett Wilson always looks open. These receivers, it's like our quarterbacks are looking for the flats, the tight ends, and the running backs coming out the flats every single time. And that fucking run play, I mean, come on. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm positive about our team. I'm still sticking to 10-7 because it's still realistically there. But somebody has to be held accountable for all this bullshit that we're watching. 1 touchdown in 2 games, fucking pathetic. Imagine if we didn't have Greg Gillette, where the hell would we be at? You know, we're thinking a high offense. Our defense is better than last year. Yes, correct. It's ranked 18th in the league. Has, you know, but everything else that goes along with it, freaking trash. JFM, garbage. Freaking garbage. I'd rather have Clemens in there than have his ass out there. You know, it's just freaking pathetic that we have such a great team, but we have no coaches to be motivated. You know what? I don't know if you guys saw Kent Dorsey when they lost to Miami. He fucking broke the computer. You know, we don't have no fire like that on our team. Zero. We have shit. We don't have shit. Then to top it off, we got to come in these spaces and get fucking hammered by other people because not because of us, because of our team. Because our team is not performing to where it should be performing. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think we can get it together, recoup it, and be 2-2. Hopefully, if we could get a damn pass rush, I'm glad to see Quan Alexander out there better than. I mean, that was just misplays after misplays. Williams missed so many goddamn plays, going after Burrow. JFM, that fucking stupid penalty. I mean, the list goes on of how we lost that game, but it happens. The Bengals ain't beat us. We beat ourselves, to be honest with you guys. We beat ourselves. The coaching staff should be embarrassed. Just like Happy said, you know, don't go up to the fucking podium and says, oh, this is a work in progress. Get the fuck out of here, work in progress. You have all fucking preseason to figure it out. You still can't figure it out. Like, enough is enough. Accountability. The owner should step in and be like, say something. Somebody needs to say something. General manager, somebody needs to say something to this coaching staff. But because we're young and we don't look the part, but really think about what we have here. We have a good group. We just, you know, I don't want to hear shit about Fant getting paid freaking horrible. How rookies outplaying our veterans that are there. These veterans should be embarrassed to have a rookie come in and have, I mean, he's playing out his mind right now, you know, and it's being, I mean, I don't even know. Johnson is playing probably our second best defensive player right now, and he's a fucking rookie. Garner, another one. Reed playing out his mind. Whitehead is just Whitehead. He's a hitter. That's it. You know, we can apply pressure. All this about Carl Lawson this, oh, Carl Lawson that. Listen, I'd rather have young kids out there that are going to perform and play the lights out than have these veterans be out there and taking up space and making us look bad. No accountability means we're going to be fucking shits the rest of the way. We don't start getting our accountability in our fucking teams. That's all I got to say about this fucking team right now. Fuck the Bengals anyways, and the Steelers, motherfuckers.
Yeah, nah, bro. Like, I don't know. Like I said, there's blame to go around, you know what I'm saying? But there is no accountability on this team. We know it. Like, that's the only way things are going to change if people are actually being held accountable. And like I said, the defense is my biggest worry. The offense, where Justin, you said it, these guys are getting open relatively like quick off the line, and we just don't have a quarterback right now that's able to deliver the ball. We just have to hope and pray to God that Zach Wilson is that guy and is able to do that. If he's able to do that, our offense will be okay. But our defense up to this point is not.
And Benny, real quick, again, I said it before. That stadium was excited. That there was a lot of Jet fans in that stadium. I haven't seen MetLife. I looked around the stadium. There was more green because normally when we go this early on, there's a little bit more away teams. but there was a sea of green in that stadium. So fans were amped up for this game. Fans were excited for this game. The crowd was fucking loud, louder than I've ever heard it in a while, to be honest with you. And what did they do? 0 fucking touchdowns. And I said it before, I'll say it again. The Jets so far have only had 1 touchdown at MetLife this year. And our next home game is against the Miami Dolphins, who last time I checked, Miami's putting up points. So this team needs to score points. And we talked about all offseason that Joe Douglas is building this team to score points. We saw it in the Browns game. Where the hell is it at home? Like in front of your fucking home fans. Again, I know it wasn't Zach. Zach wasn't out there, but now that Zach's coming back, we need to see some points because this is honestly this is embarrassing.
On another note, happy on that Garrett Wilson that Joe Flacco threw a touchdown to on that slant, right? That slant is open about 95% of the chance, and because our quarterbacks don't look up, they can't see these receivers wide open. I mean, it's just there, and we don't even like. I watched Green Bay's offense yesterday, and I was saying to myself, why can't our offense perform? It's the same freaking basic offense, but they make it look so easy. Aaron Rodgers just makes it look so easy. A quick slant, bam, is there, is open. We don't even do a quick slant. We don't do none of that. Like, no slants at all with these receivers. We got to wait till they come across the field. Like, how the hell are you going to give Joe Flacco that much time? I can't take it right now.
Yeah, no, we need a lot more of the quick game, and with Zach Wilson being back, that's what we need to do. So, go ahead, Jeff for life, brother.
So everybody's making pretty good points, but I don't believe it's our defense that's the problem. Well, not so much the problem or the worst. It's our offense. We have y'all contradicting yourself because you're saying people are wide open and they're not getting the ball. The reason why they're not getting the ball, and then another guy said, well, they're throwing to the flats. They're throwing to the flats because Flacco was getting lit the hell up. So by the time you get hit a couple times, you want to throw it to the flats. You're not even looking at wide receivers at this point. That's why Breece Hall was the leading wide receiver basically on Sunday. Fact is, JFM, I understand people are down on JFM, but they're trying to use him like a JJ Watt or a Bosa. He needs to stay in one position and he needs to stay there. That's it. He needs to stay there. There's no moving him around the line. There's none of that. He's not that type of player. He's not that good. So fact is, it's not our offense. I mean, it's not our defense. It's our offense. Our defense is communication. They have to work on communication. When you're playing a zone, communication is key. If you're not communicating, you saw Sauce. Sauce pass somebody over. He said, hey, you got him. He's doing it with his arm. He said, hey, I'm passing him off. They're not communicating. They're not looking. They're not communicating. I can't say that enough. Breece Hall, I get that everybody loves him and wants him to be that guy. I understand his yardage and all that other stuff. But Carter needs way more carries than Breece Hall. He just does. He looks comfortable out there. Every time he touches that ball, even though he might not go for the grand slam, he's getting yards. He's getting first downs. That's what we need. Wilson, I get that everybody thinks this is going to flip with Wilson, but things can get worse. You're talking about a young quarterback. If he's getting that pressure like that, Flacco's not throwing interceptions. He's checking it down. Wilson will throw interceptions. He's going to force the ball. And not saying it's a bad thing that he does that, but I'm thinking you're going to see more interceptions when Wilson comes out there. It was something else I wanted to chime in on. Y'all was talking about. But I'll just close it out with it's not our defense. Y'all contradicting yourself with, okay, well, like the defense is the worst. It's not the defense. The defense is out there on the field entirely too long. Now I know JFM made the little dumb penalty, and I get that caused led to a touchdown, but it's we're out there on the field too damn long. But I do get what Robert and Olbrich and all them, they have to scheme better. I said this on PD's lounge. We're putting Clements should be out there. Quentin shouldn't be in so much of a coverage uh position. Even though he got hurt. Quincy, I mean. I'm sorry that he got hurt, but he's out of position. He doesn't have that mindset to cover a tight end or a cornerback, especially in the zone, because he's not communicating. He just looks like he's ready to make the big hit, the big play. Our safety play, we all know is trash. It just is what it is. But if they can fix communication in that defense, and that becomes Rex did it when he played. You got to get down to the details. We want to just implement a package where we're so under that we're not there yet. These guys are not communicating to where they can play a zone. And if you play a zone and don't communicate, you're talking about big plays that's going to happen. So that's about it. But all y'all made good points, but y'all do contradict yourself with saying our defense is not that. Our defense is fine. It's just we're on the field too long. Our offense, you have everything you need to scheme around that offensive line being trash like it is. Like you said, quick slants, screens, routes that don't go 20 and 30 yards. We're not there yet. So it's up to these coaches to fix it. And that's where we're running into a problem. I kind of got to vent a little bit to where I'm kind of easing back now, but it's up to these coaches and understand Robert sees it too, but I don't understand why he's not fixing it because he looks beaten. When you see him at that podium, he knows what's coming and he looks beaten. When he got here, he was smiles and jovial and all that stuff. Right now, he looks beaten and he has to he got to get back to the details. And whether that be him take over the defensive calling or whatever, but I don't think it's calling. I think it's coaching. You have to get down to the details. Communication is key in that zone. But our offense is the worst because we're not scoring points. You just said it. We scored 7 points at home. That's it. Out of these 3 games, we only scored 7 points. And we have Wilson, we have Brees, we have Carter. We have every piece you need. You have your slot wide receiver as in Moore. You have your big time wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. You have your possession catch wide receiver in Davis. You have everything you need. Plus you have your tight ends. I ain't even chime on them, but that's where our offense should kind of start with. All this stuff is there. It's just they're having trouble putting it together, and it's no excuse for them. You're a coach. This is what you do. You put people in the best place to win. Clements, he needs to be out there. He's bending the pocket every time I see him. It's just we're not putting it all together, and hopefully, God willing, it comes to where you put them together because we have all the pieces to do what we need to do. Other than our safeties, our safeties are trash. I can't even say anything about them.
Benny, can I rebuttal this? Can I be rebuttal, please?
Go ahead.
So Jeff, so you're saying that it's our offense, right? Is that what you're saying? It's not our defense, right? So who puts the players out there? The coaches, right? So if there's no accountability because these guys are your good friends, then how can you make the adjustments out there? You as a coach make the adjustments at halftime. There was no adjustments at
Now,
halftime.
I
Zero
get that, but that's
adjustments.
coaching though, and I'm a
And
rebuttal
understand
with the accountability. Yeah, but
exactly.
I've said that.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something to the Bolt to because I don't know. I don't know if this has been said. Each of these 3 games, the Jets have been down 7-0 a good chunk of the time. So it would be really nice if the defense, and I believe the Bengals scored on their opening drive. Browns scored on their opening drive. Ravens, it took a little bit. So the defense needs to make some stops early on instead of our offense, especially when Zach comes back. And we talked about this all offseason. It's detrimental to a kid's development if you're having to make a comeback every single time, 7-0, 14-0. This defense needs to make some stops early rather
Hey,
than
Happy.
blink.
Hey, Happy. you're talking about that. I needed to jump in, rebuttal or whatever. So obviously we're all upset what's going on or whatever. You're saying the defense got to make stops. Obviously they scored or whatever. Okay, so the Jets were down by it was 20 points. The defense held Cincinnati for 7 points at that second half. So the defense gave the offense time to catch up, and they did it. So look at the game fully, guys. The defense held them to
Jets
7
blow.
points.
You're right. You're right, Big T. But my point is, how about we stop them early?
I understand that, but they did it.
But we
But
can
they
counter
did it.
that with
What do we
we
do?
can counter. Listen,
Do we
listen,
have
listen.
to?
We
Do the
can
Jets
counter
have to
that
come
with.
back from 2+ scores every game? Like
I get you on that, but we have some
that's
games.
ridiculous.
We
The
have had.
offense is the problem.
Listen.
But we're asking. But again, we're asking. You're going to ask Zach Wilson if the defense doesn't make stops early. You're asking a young quarterback that we're trying to develop. You're going to keep asking him,
Hey, Benny,
kid,
hold
we're
on.
down by 17. Go out there and try to
Can
lead
I
us on
say something?
another
So you're saying that
Happy. That's
okay?
why you play
You're
4 quarters. You play 60 minutes. That's why you play 4 quarters.
listen. You say that,
Defense has got to
Benny.
play better early.
You
I'm
say
sorry.
that, Benny, but we had the ball too. We had the ball too. The first possession of the game, we didn't score. We had games where we had the ball first. We didn't score. So it's not all on the defense. This is defense and offense, but it's more so on offense because the defense is holding their ground. They're just out there on the field too long.
I agree with you, Just for
No.
Life. I agree
The
with you.
differential is only 6 minutes, and four out of the 6 minutes have been when the team was actually killing the ball. That stat is ridiculous. Stop with that. That stat is ridiculous.
But it's not ridiculous,
6 minutes,
JoJo. It really
6 minutes
isn't.
differential. 4 out of the 6 minutes is when they were killing the ball, killing the time on the thing. So 2 minutes, pretty much a difference of the defense being on that field.
So JoJo, let me ask you a question. So if the Jets defense held them to 7 and they scored 20 in the first, did they do their job? Did they held them?
The whole second half, the Bengals weren't even really playing football.
They held them to 7 points, bro. They held them to 7 points. The offense is trash. The line is trash.
So is the defense.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. The only reason I say the offense isn't as much the problem is that we all know good and well that Joe Flacco sucks ass, right? So there's the expectation that Joe Flacco was gonna go out there and lead us and then be a fucking good quarterback. No, our quarterback is what's holding that offense back currently.
I pray you're right. I pray you're right.
We have guys that are oh my god, I got a fucking fire alarm going off all over the damn place in my building.
Benny,
all right,
real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but the second half, the Bengals had 2 possessions for 14 and a half minutes. 14 and a half minutes. Basically a quarter. A whole quarter. 2 possessions.
Well, the defense hasn't gotten a stop all year.
And they didn't even score
2
in those 2
drives.
possessions.
And again, and I said it before too, back-to-back opening drives, touchdowns they've given up. Make a stop early. Force 3 and outs. I get it. You guys, I get it. The offense stinks. I understand that. I said it before. Our left tackle position has been shot since the Brickishaw-Ferguson retired. But there's a problem. The Jets are constantly playing down. So far, 2 games in a row, the Jets are down 7-0 right off the rip. How about we get a nice 3 and out for once and get our offense out there and let our offense do some work, not being down 7-0.
We would have had a 3 and out, but JFM wanted to be stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you said before too. There's no accountability. And then also Jordan Whitehead makes a bonehead play going for a hit stick. What are you doing? Tackle the fucking guy, and then Tyler Boyd takes it to the house. Stupid. It's just stupid. And there's no accountability. Get in this fucking guy's face and tell him not to hit stick. Wrap him up. What are you doing? There's just no accountability. He stands there with his arms crossed.
Happy, what you're saying is 100% correct. All the things that are happening are very correctable. And the thing is, when it comes to coaching, obviously that's exactly what you guys are hawking out, coaching and accountability or whatever. But what needs to happen is the Jets have players. They got Will Parks. They got a couple of players that they could bring in. If you put them in positions to play and they keep not executing what the coaches are coaching them, they need to sit down. That's what needs to happen. Because the coaches can only do so much. Like the coaches put them in play, and now they want to be extra and try to help somebody, but leave somebody open. Like this is really lame. But you do your job. If you do your job, then it becomes a lot harder for the other team to get at you. But if you try, like Quincy, trying to help freaking Sauce and leaving him open, and Jamar Chase is wide open. That's on Quincy. He's not executing. He got put in zone. He's supposed to cover his zone, but if you leave your spot, they're gonna kill you, and then you're gonna go after the coaches. But it's the players that are not executing. If they're not executing, they have to sit.
We knew going into the season Quincy Williams was going to be a I'm trying to think of the word, not very good in pass coverage, but I want to get liability. Thank you, Joe. We knew that, but well, let's get to the hands. I believe let's go Terrence, and then we'll go Mo.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Down here, maybe the wires are all going crazy because of the supposed hurricane coming. But anyway, yeah, everybody's been saying it. I don't have anything new to offer much. Still upset about what happened yesterday. Agree with you, Happy, when I was online here. I mean, in my opinion, the defense didn't get itself right until midway through the second quarter. And in my opinion, this offense is always playing from behind, at least the last two games. I mean, yeah, we tied Cleveland a couple of times, but in order for this offense to really reach its potential, it's got to start using the running game more. And I don't see how we can do that if we're always playing from behind. And so, and in regards to Brees and Michael Carter, I kind of agree, except the other way. Like, you got to pick one of these guys to be the guy that runs 60% of the plays. Because I'm just tired of all the substitutions. That's what I'm. I don't think these guys have a rhythm. It's like, Brees does something, all of a sudden Michael Carter's in there. Now I just wonder. Just let somebody have a possession. I mean, both of them can catch the ball out of the backfield. Both can run the ball. But to me, they got to pick. I just think sometimes LaFleur, it's just maybe he's in awe of all the options he has. And he just, sometimes just keep giving it to Garrett Wilson if he's the guy that's open. Forget about, let's throw it to Corey Davis now or Elijah Moore. I mean, that 4th and 5 play, I still don't understand what the fuck they were doing there. Where he was totally covered. He just threw it up. I mean, either try to get Zerline to kick a 57-yarder at that point, or just try to come up with a play that gets you 5 or 6 yards. I mean, just to get the first down. I don't understand it.
Yo,
And
Terrence.
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you keep going. I just want to interject right there about that 4th and 5 play.
Yeah.
They I forgot who it was, but someone posted it. This is where incompetent QB play stands out, because in that moment he threw that ball to Elijah Moore. He had Tyler Conklin and Garrett Wilson running open in the middle of the field, but for some reason he decided to throw a 50-50 ball to a guy that's shorter than me and you. So I don't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could see that if it was at the end of the game and we had, and it was 20 seconds left, let's see what happens. But, that was in the middle of the third quarter. And, I just felt I don't know why you're wasting a play on like that. I really don't. And on the defense, I really think they did make some adjustments, and they were holding Burrow a little bit more, which would have given the offense a chance had the offense executed on the Cincinnati side of the field, where we didn't rely on Greg the Leg to kick those long field goals to get us 12 points. We gotta score more. And Elijah Moore had a touchdown if he could hold on to the ball. It's just, I don't know. I guess it's the same problem from last year. When he's wide open, he can catch it, but contested catches, that was the first game of the year last year against Carolina, where he had a ball and I remember, I remember that play where Zach threw a nice little long pass to him, and the cornerback got his arm in there and basically knocked it away. So I was kind of pissed at that too. Professional players on winning teams make that catch, and that's, people, and then finally, I just think some people were saying the coaching staff, it seems to me that the rookies, either because of the training they got at Ohio State or some of their other college programs, they're somehow they're executing the plays better than these veterans. And I'm tired of JFM, who hasn't done shit, since he got his contract extension. You know, like you can't do something like that. And that answer he gave after the game, where like, oh yeah, me and Joe Burrow both agreed it wasn't really that bad or something. Like Joe Burrow didn't say that. Give me a break. You know, like it was kind of, you know, like that's where you supposedly have you have like 5 or 6 edge players, and you got one guy, Bryce Huff, you know, inactive for 3 games. If somebody's not getting it done, that's where you put somebody else in and basically say you're going to ride the bench until you learn from your mistake. That's where supposedly this team has talent, where it didn't have it last year, where they had no choice but to play, like you said, Quincy Williams all the time. You know, there's more talent on this team now. So, like, you know, if people aren't getting it done, next guy up, like Big T-Rock says. And finally, regarding the coaching, we're going to find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks when it comes to Zach Wilson, whether or not this coaching staff is good or not. Because if he doesn't make the second-year jump like Trevor Lawrence is doing right now, you know, compared to last year, and you know, some of these other teams that were down in the gutter with us last year, like, yeah, I know Detroit lost, you know, on Sunday, but you know, Campbell seems to have these guys playing, and they have some type of culture there. You know, like to me, if Zach Wilson, like I think Jet Fan for Life said, you know, if Zach Wilson doesn't make that jump, then I start to question the whole coaching philosophy. And these guys, to me, it's like they inherited this great system from Shanahan, and they created, you know, and this great Seattle system on defense that Salah was a part of and then took to San Francisco. And it's like, okay, so we have the plan, but do they know how to really execute it and get these guys in a position where they can make plays? You know, that's the thing I'm wondering. And if it can't happen with Zach Wilson over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not going to get upset if he, you know, if he has like a somewhat poor performance, because you got to say, okay, he's been out for a couple of weeks and it was his first game. He still has rust. But this coaching staff has to prove that it can develop the number 2 pick in the draft, or else they're not getting it done. And if we're going to spend another 14 weeks of Salah up there at the podium like this, not only will everybody on this lounge freak out, but, you know, the media is going to freak out, you know, and Woody Johnson's going to hear it. Now, I'm not here to tell you if people should get fired. It's out of my control. But, you know, again, you know, we can't have these mental mistakes. This is what losing teams do. And this guy Salah was supposed to come in and change the culture. And so far, he hasn't done it. They're playing like another 4-13 team, and we know this team is a lot more talented than that. And they got to start making some changes, first of all, and also the Quinnen Williams thing. I wish he showed as much fire out on the field that he did on the sidelines, screaming at his position coach. You know, like, I mean, it seemed like after he had that, the defense started playing better. So maybe that's what they needed. But, you know, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of that shit. Like we're supposed to extend this guy and give this guy major money. I haven't seen him make you know, basically play like the 3rd pick in the draft for 4 years. You know, I'm just getting tired of it. You know, show us you can dominate. You know, and then it becomes a question of whether these players were not drafted, you know, that they were poorly drafted, or whether this coaching staff isn't developing them the way that they're supposed to be. And then there's going to be a question at the end of the year whether somebody can do it better. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Benny, can I rebuttal one thing that Terrence said?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Because I got Jake Asman just pulled up, so
I know that.
we'll be able to talk to him real quick. So real quick.
Yeah. The one thing that I just wanted to rebuttal, whatever, is the not just to Elijah Moore, but just as a defense as a whole, whatever. And I'm gonna compare because he says Elijah Moore going up, and when he goes for the ball, unless he drops it fully, but if the defense gets a hand in there, whatever, and knocks it out or whatever, that's a great defensive play. That's not on Elijah Moore, because I could turn it around, and we can go back to Jamar Chase and Sauce going in there, getting his hands and knocking it out or whatever. You're not going to go at Jamar Chase and, oh, he's a professional, he needs to catch it or whatever. Sauce just made a great play or whatever. So that's just wanted to rebuttal. The defense gets paid to make plays as well. So unless they drop it and nobody touched it, if they get their hands on there, that's a great defensive play. That's not on the wide receiver.
No, I wasn't, when I mentioned that before, that 4th and 5, I wasn't meaning it as like an indictment on Elijah Moore. It was just when you have guys like Conklin running open and Garrett Wilson running open for the first down, throwing a 50-50 ball to a guy that's my height.
Yeah, that wasn't even on that
that's-
play. I'm talking about pretty much in general or
Yeah,
whatever.
I know,
When,
I know,
you know,
I know.
when the defense makes when they make a play or whatever, they get their hands in there or whatever. That's hard for the wide receiver to find. The wide receiver, you know, these strong wide receivers get it in or whatever. But if they get their hands in there, that's a great defensive play. That's not even close on the wide receiver.
No, it was. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, what's going on, Jake? I appreciate you popping in real quick. I know you probably don't got too much time, but what's your reaction to this gloomy Monday on piss poor, another piss poor performance?
Yeah, you said it. You said it best, right? It feels like a game that we've watched 1,000 times yesterday. My big concern is it feels like this team is really poorly coached, and if they don't make adjustments quickly or things don't change, they're not going to win games. Like despite the upgrades on the roster, this team is poorly coached. They were badly coached yesterday. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about how great the Jets' defensive line is. Yet through 3 games, they've done absolutely nothing. And you want to make an excuse to the first 2 games because they're playing Lamar and they're playing a Browns team that runs the ball. Okay, I'll listen to that. But this was a joke yesterday. I'm sorry. I know the defense played a lot better in the second half, but the damage is done when you give up 20 points in the first half and you're behind in all these games with Joe Flacco at quarterback. You don't have a chance.
Yeah, that's very similar to the point that me and Happy were making, where it's just like, to me, I'm not as worried. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm not as worried about the offense necessarily because I see guys getting open. I just think it's Joe Flacco's incompetent play, not being able to get the ball to these guys, and the fact that our offensive line is brutal right now, especially at the left tackle spot. But this defense, I've seen close to nothing out of Jeff Ulbrich to give me any sorts of confidence that we can contain absolutely anyone. We get no pressure on the quarterback. We're consistently running this soft zone, letting constant miscommunication in our back end with our safeties. The play with Whitehead was nauseating. Like this defense is extremely worrisome, and I don't understand the loyalty to guys like Carl Lawson, who clearly doesn't have the same juice. JFM, who hasn't been producing. Like, I don't know. This rotation is kind of pissing me off now. Like, this defense is very ugly. Like, it's very, very ugly.
Agreed. They feel like they're poorly coached. The defensive line rotation is a joke. I mean, play your best players. It's not working. Like they got to be willing to adapt this scheme because whatever they're doing has not worked, and we're getting sick and tired of it. We are. The excuse of this team is not talented enough. That's BS, man. This team is certainly talented enough to be in the fourth quarter in these games. They've led for 22 seconds all season. You look around the NFL. There are teams that aren't taking 5 years to rebuild, to figure out how to be competitive. Like, there's no reason why the Jets couldn't be in the fourth quarter with a chance to win against Baltimore week 1. Have a chance to yesterday to win this game. I mean, if they convert a couple of these scoring drives, from field goals to touchdowns, they're right there in the game. But the sloppiness from the veterans here with the penalties and just the lack of just this defense doing what it's supposed to do up front, it's maddening. It really is, because the record says 1-2. They're lucky they're 1-2 right now. Don't apologize for it, but they gotta clean this up quick. It's not like the schedule gets any easier the next 3 or 4 games.
Oh, 100%. I said that's how exactly I opened up this space. Was we're lucky we're not an 0-3 team. This actually is an 0-3 team. Besides that minute and a half, that was absolutely amazing. We've been severely outcoached and outplayed on both sides of the ball, and you cannot tell me otherwise. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. I know, Jake, you probably don't have too much time. If anyone got a question for Jake, go ahead.
I believe
Mo.
it was Mo next.
All right, go ahead, Mo.
What's going on? Happy knows me. I'm a Browns fan. I didn't really have a question, but it was just, for me, I see y'all offense is pretty solid. You feel me? Just like y'all said, it's the defense. Like, against us, our secondary was terrible, and Flacco was out there making plays. I think y'all just gonna be having to outscore people till y'all get that defense together, bro. Like, we had a good secondary. We still got scores. I think Wilson is him. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like y'all should scheme up some stuff for him more, for real. Elijah Moore, he's nice too. And I forgot who was in here earlier when they said that they need to decide, like, give a drive to Brees or Michael Carter. Like, I think I think they should adapt to like what Cleveland does, like running back by committee. You feel me? Like let one of them wear them down, bring the other one in when the other one's tired. Like not a lot of people do that. But no, I was just listening for real. That was really it. Just you feel me? And I just wanted to because I didn't come in after week 2. Happy Justin Jet. You feel me? I give y'all flowers. Y'all did that to us in the final minute of that game, minute and a half. So you feel me? I was showing face for real. But go ahead.
Nah, I appreciate you, bro. But you're right. Yo, yeah, Jake, I'm gonna ask you that question as well. What do you think about this? Because I absolutely hate that we're on track to absolutely blow the record for most passing attempts in a single season. And I just hate how they're using these running backs. Like you make a play and then you come out. You make a play and then you come out. Like I don't really understand that. What do you make about that, Jake?
Yeah, it's frustrating. They're running the ball. They're not running the ball enough, and that's obvious. Now, part of that's because they're trailing at all these games, but they got to establish the run a lot better. I mean, the idea that Joe Flacco is leading the NFL in pass attempts for 3 games, just like that. That's you're not going to win if that's the case. Flacco is not capable of being that type of player at age 37 when he hadn't won a game until last week since 2019. It's frustrating because statistically, every time Brees Hall touches the ball, he seemingly does something with it. Like he went well over his rushing prop yesterday at like 29.5 yards, which is free money if you bet that. They got to establish the run. It's time for this team to get back to what we thought they were going to be. And, LaFleur's got to stay committed to it. I understand they're trailing in these games, but they got to run the football more. And then as far as Elijah Moore, they targeted him 10 times yesterday. How many of those routes were just go routes, 50-50 balls that have a low percentage catch rate? You got to use this guy in space, whether it's in the screen game or quick slants. I like Mike LaFleur coming into the season, but I've been very unimpressed with what we have seen so far. Garrett Wilson's amazing, but it's a little concerning that when he left the field yesterday with the rib injury, the offense completely shut down from being able to move the ball. Forget even being able to score a touchdown. They got to get Elijah Moore the ball in space, quick slants over the middle, use him out of the backfield, how the Niners use Deebo Samuel. Like LaFleur came from San Francisco. He should have plenty of ideas how to use one of his best weapons. It's been very frustrating in that sense, too.
I don't know if Elijah Moore is big enough like Deebo Samuel to go in the backfield, though. That's the only thing. But I agree with you, Jay. Use him in space. He got the chance to take a slant route to the house. You feel me?
Well, Mo, use him out of the backfield so you get him matched up with a linebacker in pass coverage. Try and do things like that where he has an advantage and can just get open because he's really good at getting open.
That end around with Burials, that should have been Elijah Moore. Stop putting Burials out there. That should have been Elijah Moore.
Those end arounds have not been working, and we should take that completely out. That's not. And then we're doing it in impromptu. Like we get a good play on first down, then you want to do an end around to lose yards, and now we're in the 3rd and long again. I don't know. I don't like how we're using that play call for sure. Go ahead, Ant. You just pulled up. Obviously, Jake, you probably know.
Yeah.
Ant, so
What's up, Jake? No, my problem, and real quick, because I just want to add to that, is LaFleur came out and after the Baltimore game said, we can't have him throwing 59 times. Well, he said that. He threw for 44 attempts last week and then 52 this week. So it's concerning on all levels with the coaching because they're admitting that they can't do it and they're continuing to make the same mistakes. And I also brought up yesterday, Jake, in the red zone on defense, that's 2 weeks in a row that they're having some sort of miscommunication or something's not working. And the coaches aren't seeing that they're in shambles and calling timeouts, and they're leaving the best player on the team wide open in a red zone. There's a lot of mistakes that are being made over and over. No, forget about adjustments. They're not fixing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's continuing, and that's what's concerning. I said it last week. I didn't want to be negative. I was going to be positive, but there was a lot of things that were wrong with that game. And they had a chance to fix it. They got a pass because they won last week, and nothing changed. It seemed to be worse this week because these dumb penalties are still happening. I personally did not want JFM on the field for the rest of the game after that penalty. And it's like, okay, go sit out a couple of plays and then go right back in. I forget who said it, but someone said the word accountability. There's none of that on this team. And I was optimistic. I was like, okay, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm concerned is an understatement at this point with them.
Amen. Amen. I feel like there's a major coaching problem on this team right now. And, this coaching staff hasn't earned the benefit of the doubt for us to have faith in them to be able to make adjustments.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No, this I don't know. I wanted to hone in on that point that you made about Elijah Moore. That we're totally not using him in the right way at all. It's been half of those targets were like 50-50 go routes where Elijah Moore is not going to find a way to like come down with that. We're content with using him solely on the outside and having him run those go routes. And even when Elijah Moore is getting open, we just through 3 games. Maybe it's because just Joe Flacco isn't a good quarterback, but he's just not getting Elijah the ball, and that's frustrating as hell to me. But another thing I want to kind of ask you about is this left tackle position. I think Fant, he had a great year, but what do you think is going on with Fant? And if he can't go because of that knee injury, it's a tall ask for Zach Wilson's first game to be his blind side covered by McDermott. that can get ugly really quick. So what do you think about that left tackle spot?
No, I'm concerned about it, no doubt. I mean, hopefully George Fant can go, but it's not like he's been playing great football this year when he's been out there. I think the injuries affected him. The fact that he was right tackle, then left tackle, they moved him all over the place. He hasn't been able to really get into a rhythm and get the chemistry going with his, offensive line mates. It's concerning, but it kind of is what it is. You got to hope that Zach's mobility can bail them out of some sacks, the same way Joe Burrow's mobility bailed the Bengals out of some potential sacks yesterday. It's definitely a concern, but it's one of those things where they need Zach to come back and hopefully correct a lot of these mistakes and get the ball out quick. And you watching back some of the film, you could see there's guys open. Like, go look at the interception Flacco threw to Berrios in triple coverage yesterday. There's a bunch of guys open, so you just got to hope that Zach coming back and maybe spark this offense a little bit. And it would help if they could establish the run a little bit. They're not trailing, so they got to throw a bunch. Run the ball on Pittsburgh and give yourself a chance in the game that way.
Yeah, I feel like we've definitely abandoned the run way too early. Like, it's not like we're down. We abandon it when we're down 14, 17, whatever it's a 1-score game and we're completely forgetting about the run. And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to see because Anthony
Benny, to that point, it was 10-3 halfway through the third quarter, the opening game.
Yeah,
yes,
and you want to forget about
and the run was way before that. I mean, to me, it feels like they go into panic mode if it's 7-3, 7-0, 3-0, and it's just keep throwing the ball. That's a big problem.
Go ahead, Double O. I know you had your hand up for a while. Go ahead, bro.
What's up? What's up? I mean, my biggest concern, I'm not really going to complain about the offense because obviously Joe Flacco. I know I'm beating a fucking dead drum, but Jeff Goldberg is just the fucking worst defensive coordinator I've ever seen in my life. And why the fuck is Quan Alexander only getting 25 snaps? I looked at the snap count. Like, can anyone explain that? It makes no sense. I mean, I didn't play football, so I don't really know how that shit works. But is there a reason he should only be on the field for 25 snaps? But yeah, I'm just excited for Zach to come back. So that's why I'm really not too worried about the offense. I mean, George Fant just sucks. This whole fan base wanted to extend him. He sucks. He's not good. He's been terrible his whole career in Seattle. He's always been mid. He's a fucking swing tackle, and he sucks. So now we need a left tackle, which is a huge problem. But yeah, that's all I got. I really want to move past this week because it was a fucking terrible week. I just want to move on to Pitt. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, nah. This is, and I'm gonna mention this. I watched your video, one of your videos last week, Jake, where you mentioned the fact that this was an opportunity to like stump the SOJ same old Jets persona to the league, where this is the game you make your mark. And every time we have an opportunity to do that, I feel like we fall short. Like in this, it's unfortunate, and I don't know. At this point, do you hope that coach is just like, all right, Jeff, I need to take charge of the play call, or like is it I don't think it's the talent, because the talent's there on the defensive side of the ball. I don't like the rotation thing anymore. It's just I don't know what to expect out of his defense, and I truly think we're going to make Mitch Trubisky look like an NFL quarterback again. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond frustrating, guys. I mean, this was an opportunity for them to go out there and, if you lose a close one to the Bengals, we obviously would be pissed off. But, at least we could be like, they're the better football team. But it's the way they're losing these games, man. It's the way they lost week one. It's the way they lost this game yesterday that has you concerned about the people running this team, because this team is talented. This team has good players on it, and there's no excuse for this defensive line to do nothing. That feels like it's a coaching problem. There's no excuse for this offense, even with Flacco, to be as inept as it looked. To not get Elijah Moore involved, to not feature the tight ends in this offense, to not be able to run the football. It feels like that's a coaching problem. It's just the lack of accountability. Feels like it's a coaching problem. The penalty by JFM and then Corey Davis, two veterans, feels like it's a coaching problem. So it's concerning because the talent level is clearly improved. Like, we could see it if you just watch the Jets. We know what bad football players look like, and yeah, the Jets clearly have improved there. But it's frustrating to feel like they could have a chance to have a much better record if they had better coaching. That's a major concern 3 games in.
Oh yeah, that was my point earlier, where you look around the league and you can't sit there and look at the Lions roster or even Jacksonville's roster and be like, wow, their roster is leaps and bounds better than the Jets, because it's not. I could argue that the Jets top down probably have a better roster than the Lions and the Jaguars, but they clearly have decent even the Giants. I hate mentioning the Giants because they're a crosstown rival, but it seems to have decent coaching in place, and they're staying competitive. They're winning football games. And I don't know, that's the reason we're doing it. And I don't know, it's not surprising we're not even in games in the second half. And that has to do with coaching. Like, it is what it is. But I know, Mark, you got a question. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Betty. And thanks, Jake. Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, it seems like this team is a front four without a premier edge rusher. We had big hopes for Carl Lawson. He looks 70%, 80%. He's a pressure machine, but he just can't get home. So, Jake, my question is, in this next matchup against Pittsburgh, what are you expecting out of the defense? Do you think they need to rush, like bring 5 to get to the passer? Do you think Bryce Huff maybe needs to be active? Like, what are your thoughts about how this defense can generate pressure?
I mean, I would start by just playing your best players more. I mean, to me, it's like you look at the snap counts for the defensive line. Just Nathan Shepard really need to play 22 snaps, and Quinn Williams is playing only 46 of a possible 68. That doesn't sound right. Carl Lawson only on the field for 45 out of a possible 68. JFM 36 out of possible. Like, play your best players more. Like, these guys are paid a lot of money. The Jets' defensive line is the most invested unit in football at their position. So I would start there. I mean, whether they rush or bring more blitzes. I mean, Mitch Trubisky will throw you one. I feel like if you let him. So maybe the strategy is you just try and confuse him with different looks and hope that your pass rush can get home. I don't really know what they should do, but whatever they're doing, they got to do something different because it's clearly not working. Like, they've been trailing in all these games. They have not played with a lead all season besides for 22 seconds. So they got to do something different, because if they make Mitch Trubisky look like a good quarterback on Sunday, I don't know if this fan base can handle another week like that.
Jake, do you think they need to bring in someone with experience to just whether it's like just an outlet for them? Because, man, I'm looking at this and all these guys are obviously they were there last year, but they seem in over their head on every aspect of coaching. The head coach, the OC, the DC. I mean, the only guy that's doing something, and at that point, I don't know what the conversation was, but I thought he was talking to JFM about the dumb penalty. Now you got Quinnen getting mad if he was, giving him an earful, which he should have been, and he should be getting. It's just, to me, there's no pillar. It's all friends. It's all games. It's like, we want to be friends. No, I don't want a friend. I want a coach. I want someone that's going to be stern. So to me, I don't know if they have a holdback coach for Salah. Maybe they should get an assistant that had head coaching experience or someone like that, because you think this was bad? One thing about the Steelers, Tomlin's going to have that team ready. He's one of top coaches in this league. So if you think you got outcoached this week, you need a miracle to outcoach Tomlin after what I seen yesterday.
Yeah, the saving grace is that they're starting a really bad quarterback, right? So, like, Tomlin's a great coach. You know, he was outcoached by Kevin Stefanski. It felt like on Thursday night because of, well, Trubisky was that bad. They scored 3 points in the second half. But I'm with you. I mean, there's major concerns right now with this coaching staff. You know, I honestly I don't want to hear it. Like, go and win this game next week. Like, screw the Steelers. This is a very winnable game. Zach Wilson is back. You run the football. No one needs Zach Wilson to go out there and be the savior in this first game, but he should be able to be a lot better than Joe Flacco. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation for Zach Wilson in this one. They got to win, though. Winning will cure a lot of issues here, but I understand any Jet fan that's not exactly very confident in them going into Pittsburgh next week and winning, despite the fact Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett's going to be the opponent's starting quarterback.
Yeah, and to me, I think what really bothers me about Coach Saleh, and I'm trying to give him the benefit. I'm not totally off the train yet, but what bothers me is that I feel like there's more mantra and sayings than actual production on the field. The whole 60%, the whole, like, I don't know, the all gas, no break. And we're not seeing none of that actually translate on the field. To me, I was okay with like losing games this year as long as we were competitive. And you said it earlier, it's the way we're losing these games. We're not competitive, and we're lucky as hell that the Browns secondary totally like was lost for the last 2 minutes. And I don't know, it's just the sayings and all that stuff is like the receipts, like nothing is coming into fruition. Like so just stop talking. like fans don't care about that anymore. You're 20 games into your head coaching career and you have 5 wins for when Ron Middleton was the head coach for one of the games. Like, I don't know. There's not enough production going on for sure. Go ahead, James, and then Justin.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Jake, how's it going, man? Never miss a video of Jake's, man. The guy's a man.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm going to break it down for you real quick, guys. Joe Flacco sucks. Okay? Let's just break it down right now. I'm watching last week's game. He comes out and he throws a couple of dump offs to win it. That's great. We got the onside kick. We got lucky. That was a lucky win, guys. And we blew it up all week like Joe Flacco. I was listening to one guy say, if Joe Flacco balls out, I said, what the fuck you talking about? Joe Flacco balling out? I said, and I'm 60, and if I play center field for the Yankees, what are you talking about? This is absolutely ridiculous. What's going on here? He got lucky. You cannot win in this league without a good quarterback. And he's not only a bad quarterback, he's the worst quarterback. He can't move. He cannot throw anymore. He's throwing ducks out there. And let me tell you something, from a guy who used to play this game, you throw ducks out there, it's not just a joke. You get people hurt. You get people hurt when you throw ducks out there. We're lucky that Gary Wilson didn't get his freaking back broke. Okay, you cannot throw these kinds of balls. You need guys out there that are dual threat. That's the way the NFL is built right now. You gotta worry about the quarterback running. You gotta throw dimes. You gotta throw dimes on the move. He can do none of that. None of that. It doesn't matter what coach you have in there. They just can't do any of that. There's not one good team with a bad quarterback. And there's a reason for that. I'm telling you, people, we get so caught up in the moment. The whole week, everyone's like, oh, Joe Flacco. Did you watch the rest of the game last week? Did you watch the rest of the game? He sucked the whole game. He wasn't stepping up in the pocket. He didn't feel the pressure. The reason why these offensive linemen, which I don't think we have a good offensive line, the reason why they look so bad is because you got a statue back there. You don't have to worry about this guy running. You just wait until it's third down and pin your ears back. That's all you have to do. I mean, am I wrong here, Jake? You tell me.
No, I think there's a lot of truth to what you said. You know, my fear is that this fan base is going to put too much pressure on Zach and just be like, oh, he's back, everything's fine. But I do expect to see this team be way more competent on offense with Zach Wilson at quarterback for a lot of the points you made. Zach can move. You know, if the pocket is not perfect for Joe Flacco, they cannot move the football. Like, it's embarrassing. They cannot do anything. So while I do have concerns with his offensive line, with Flacco, you're very limited with what you could do from a play calling standpoint. Notice you can't do any play action rollouts or just rollouts in general. Zach Wilson's really good when he's on the run. Like you could use your tight end game on with those rollout plays that we saw a lot last year from the Jets. We haven't seen any of that the first three games with Flacco. So the playbook will open up a lot more with Zach back.
Hey, Jake, the way I always, just from a throwing standpoint, from how strong is your arm? I've always said that you'll always tell how good a guy can throw, how much velocity he gets on a ball is an out. Okay, if you can throw the out, now he has to anticipate a lot because he doesn't have that strength in his arm. His outs were 50-50 that they're going to run it back for a pick six. That's how dangerous his outs were. If you look at the cornerbacks, they're jumping the routes like crazy because they know he can't get it out there.
Agreed. And if you watch the film, like I'm going through it right now, like the amount of opportunities that were just left because Flacco just straight up missed people. I mean, go back to that ridiculous, 4th and 5 deep shot to Elijah Moore where he was clearly covered. Tyler Conklin and over the middle, it looks like Garrett Wilson are wide open. And Flacco just misses both those guys for an easy first down. Like there's going to be opportunities for Zach to move the ball. It's going to be on him to hopefully be able to take that step that we saw at the end of last year and really build on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if they're going to win or they're going to lose this week, but I think they're going to be a lot more competitive. And yeah, the defense and the coaching, and you can go at that all day. And